That one.
Oh, you know what? We didn't say this morning, but I want to remind everybody, Chop for Charity. Remember, Fabian, our
just
main
got put
man,
up, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it just got put in the chat. So it's in the description as well. But Fabian, by the 28th, is going to be cutting off the quaff and donating it to charity. So you can click the GoFundMe right there to support it. We're going to do it live on the show. Have a little bit of fun with it for sure. This is Fabian. Get over here.
I want to show this guy's hair.
Look at the.
Yeah. This is.
There it is.
Randy, we're raising $5,000.
Boom.
And he's going to chop this off, donate it all over there to charity.
We'll all do it.
Yeah. I'm raising a little less money for mine.
I don't think we'll get anything from $5. We'll raise 50 cents for me.
Yeah. No, I think we're going to get a barber. I think we could get our barber to come in. Actually? No. This is August 28th.
It's
is the end of the day over there. He's back this.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
He's back this weekend. Yeah. No. I'm just saying, if we want to do something, he can bring in like the barber look, and we could. Yeah, it might be better.
Can you get a nice haircut too?
I don't know if he can bring in a chair or not, but. Okay, man. Yeah. So shout out to Fabian, and thanks to Neil for bringing that up. And we got to get maybe Fabian, we could get that going at the beginning of our stream, not just when you come in.
Yes.
The little link there, so we can promote it a little bit more.
Yeah, because I didn't remember until I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. And for some reason, I don't even see it on my chat. So, man, I've been blocked from this.
There's something wrong.
Okay, so CoreWeave is still $6 in, man. The TQs is about flat right now, and the midday show. Okay, we're gonna go to Adara first. All right, good show. We'll see you guys.
Oh, and Sia's
Neil's
here.
gonna have some knowledge. Yeah, see, Sia's too cool for our show.
Where'd she come from?
Sia only
show them after we're done.
Only shows up for the midday. Like the midday's got everything. They've got Joe, Sharif, and now Sia.
That's
and it's
just
like you guys
that,
have to suffer with just us. Sia, come on, save us on the morning show. Well, first of all, you got to turn on your mic. So, all right, let's go over to Adara. We'll see all you guys at 2 p.m.
Peace.
Sandus, guys, more updates from SNDK. They have their investor day. They're targeting 80% non-GAAP gross margin growth through fiscal year 2030. So they just started fiscal 2027. They're talking about 2028 to 2030 guidance. They're guiding revenue growth in the mid to high teens over that 3-year period. They're also guiding, as mentioned here, non-GAAP gross margin of 80% over that period. Their margin's already really strong, so I'll have to wait and see how that compares. But either way here, adjusted free cash flow margin, 50% over that fiscal 28 to fiscal 30 period. They also said they're expecting to return 100% of excess cash to shareholders. So lots of nice updates here for SNDK, but that stock cannot get above 1433, clear resistance level for SNDK. But we're definitely not going to resist the chance to send you over to the midday. So Joe, Sharif, it's your time to shine.
Well, I just got back from the gym, so I was sweaty a little bit, so I was shining.
Who's
Oh,
this?
Razor, Ramon. What greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey. Razor Scott Hall Options. I gave him all his little monikers there. I'm Sharif, and this is the Midday Show, baby. Let's say hello to everybody. We got Buv in. Happy Thursday, my man Buv. Brown Lightning. We got Sia in the house. Scott H, Micron Millionaire. Hey, Joe.
What's
Jody,
up? What's up, Jody?
Used items. Rob, Demchak, Slim Trady. Shout out to Artemis. We got Little Rock Soccer and Remy J, Eclectic Passions, joining us as well, man. Wick James, 99. I love that. Like, not Rick James, but Wick James. Where is it, man? Give me my hat, man.
Oh.
I tried to get Neil to wear that, but, you know, it's not his brand. Ja P. Oh, press. We got Jaguar, man. We got Toe Cutter, John Zuver, Speedy Wobbles, and Mr. Janky Stock. Shout out to DJ Rules. Yo, yo, yo. Let us begin, says Toe Cutter. Mr. Ian, Future Pro Trader, Terrible Trades. Edgar Cabras, Tony 101, Fedora, the frickin' Explorer. We got Ahmed. It's been a minute since I've seen you, Ahmed. Good to see you here, bro. Days Boy, 79. Hello, men. Okay. Stone Girl, 420. Stoner Girl, 420.
Okay.
What is happening? I like that name. Get it, Stoner Girl. We got Hurt Scrambler and Adrian, Crazy Dirt Weed. Good morning, Joseph. It feels like you're getting locked and loaded there and you're looking at something.
Let's go at so much appreciated. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. VinFast approved reported strong Q2 momentum, delivering more than 70,000 EVs globally, up 96% year over year. First half deliveries reached nearly 129,000 vehicles, up 78%, reinforcing the company's growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. By mid-year, VinFast had already achieved approximately 43% both its 2026 4W and 2W delivery targets, putting the company firmly on track across both growth engines. Bang. All right. Yeah, appreciate that. Atato. Did I say that correctly? If not, please. All right, guys, let's get right into things. Actually, no, sorry, Sharif.
What's wrong?
Lest I forget. Bravely. We got to go
Bravely?
we got to go over to TikTok.
Man.
We got Danger Carlene. Okay.
Get on the floor.
Tom Johnson, NK, Fun Fam, Sunflowers, Beflowering, Deepak, Annie, Burke. Who else do we got?
Get it,
Dizzle, Ellie, Kids, USA, spelled Y-O-U though, USA. Steve, East meets Westy, Bestie. Okay. Tell me you're a Northwest fan? Okay. Clapfrey, Kendrick Farlow, not Kendrick Lamar, Adara, Sean Conton, and then we also got the coffee girl, Bubtron on her. And where's my one guy?
Where?
D'Angelo. It's not D'Angelo. I can't find him. There it is, Derek Jackson. I still don't see him. John Noveris. I hope everyone's having a fantastic time over there on TikTok. Now listen, Katina Man and I think we have identical entries in regards when it comes to the short here in the Nasdaq. But when you pay attention to this tape, this is not something that you can be shorting at this very given moment. Why? Because regardless of NVDA, SpaceX, and some of the other hyperscalers selling off, what we have, Sharif, as I typically say, apes together strong, right? And if you go and look at the memory names, 7%, 5% plus, all of them continuing to climb higher, helping hold the NASDAQ up here. So absolutely disaster here trying to short the T-triple-Qs. Before we send it over, I want to touch on NVDL. Here it is, guys. This is what saved our day, essentially. So we were pushing pretty heavy, and I was showing Sharif off the gate here, boom, and then we did it again. But still slightly negative. I was down, I was up, I was down, and then I was up, and then now we're back down, slightly red, but it's only small potatoes at this given point. Ain't nothing that we can't climb out of, but man, what a roller coaster of a morning, an hour and a half of pure turbulence, Sharif, ups, downs, and loop-the-loops. Let's send it over to Sia.
So Adara said, and I quote, SanDisk is having a party right now on the up and up, climbing close to being up 8% on the day. Let's take a look. A couple comments coming here from SanDisk CEO saying that he's committed to mid to high teens volume growth. And market intelligence head also saying that flash memory market will grow to over $300 billion in this year alone to nearly $500 billion in 2027. The CEO also saying CFO as well expects the company to collect $93.9 billion in total contract value from 8 customers over life of contracts and expecting to return 100% of excess cash to shareholders. While we're also taking a look at this, let's also go over to AMD here that had a bit of an uptick when this came out. AMD planning to raise as much as $5 billion from its debt offering. A little bit of an uptick in AMD when this came out just a minute or two ago. It's up over 2.5%, close to 2.5% on the day.
Thank you very much for that. All right, involved in FGI. Looking for 10.5 to hold. It has to hold structure. 10.5, a prior area of very clear resistance. It's also the 10 EMA on the 5. It is also one of the Halt levels. So we have to keep an eye on this. What do I have? I have 86s. We got one profit taker there at 11.10, but it's got to reclaim 11. It has to hold 10.5 generally. Otherwise, I'll have nothing to do with this one. HCTI. This is a Bhavin Patel special. Yeah, he's already here. He's doing it live, and we're about 5 or 6 pennies off the high of the day. It is 176 high. We had a bit of a double top, I would say. What is going on over there? 155 to 160 resistance initially, and now I'm looking for it to act as support. So bottom chart over here, if you guys just indulge me for a minute, 155, you can see is where the topping tail initially rejected. 150 was the closing print. And then we had another topping tail over here right at 11 a.m. That takes us into about 160. So here's 155. Let's see if this one wants to hold up. We're going to give this one the old community college try. What do we get? We got 159. I'll defend. I'll have to give this to 145. So initial position, small, looking to hold into, structure area low. If structure area low fails, then I'm wrong and we get out of the trade. It really is that simple, okay? So let's go ahead. How many shares did we put in there? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and defend 1.5, going to wait at 52s. And then I want to take something a little bit below 50s, like right at 47. If I'm going to stop out at the volume weighted average price on this monster, which I think is just a little bit below 150, might as well buy something there, right? And there it goes. It's ripping up, Bovin, into 66s. Let's go ahead. We're going to where's my PD Rider, man? He always tells these stocks to go ahead. He's like, go ahead, HCTI.
He's on
what's going ahead?
He's on a bender right now.
FGI. Well, a bender, like a bad bender or a good bender?
Well, he's on vacation, so he's been. He said he'd been drinking all week, and I was around like
there it goes.
9:30.
Sorry.
Yeah,
all right. FGI on its horse. Here we go. We got 1086, 1170 showing up. 1175, Bovin. 1180, 1182. Boom! Into the high. 12 bucks. Limit up 1248. Watch out for limit up now. 1225 flashing on the level 2. 48. Oh wow! We just flashed into that halt and down goes Fraser. 50 pennies, 60 pennies. This thing is all over the freaking map. FGI is a bamboozler. Be careful with this one, but it's trading well. And there goes HCTI into another area high. Man, let's go here, HCTI. 37%. The Bovin special coming in yet again for the win. I like it when Bovin's here, man. He's calling them out. I think a lot of the viewers like when Bovin's here. A lot of the viewers we know love when Casey's here. That kind of goes without saying. But they love when Bovin's here because, yeah, he calls out these bad boys. 76, looking for more here. 75, big seller at 75 here on HCTI, even though the candle high does go into 78. The short, 77, 78 options, man, boom, into the high. We take out 79. We're still holding. We're looking for more. We're looking for twos now. So I'm going to go ahead, post at 182, and then we're going to post at 195, just south of the... Why is it not posting at 195? Oh, just south of that $2 area. This is all predicated, of course, upon it holding structure. Again, it has to hold about 150. The volume weighted average price now is above the $0.50, and it's basically overlapping entirely with the 10 EMA on the 5. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one here. Very happy with the breakout on HCTI, but I want to see if this one's got the juice to get into 2. Now, is this one of those ones where I should be refreshing my position in between kind of 55 to 60? And the reason I say that is because while the last 3 candles have all dilly-dallied in between 55 to 60, I'm talking about the 5-minute candles here. So is this one going to hold up? If it does, I'd like to get involved for a possible 2 move. So I think here I may put some orders right where I got in initially at 59.60. Let's see if we're kind of, let's see if we hold it. Shout out to my man. Where is he at? Eduardo. We're ripping. Yeah, man. You know what was ripping? Those pictures you put yesterday, my guy. This guy was at the beach. He's doing it live.
O's?
Mr. Formerly Gray, you know what?
Oh, Mr. Gray.
Yeah, his name's Eduardo.
Yeah, Mr. Gray. He was on the beach,
good guy,
right?
Bro.
All right, man. Good stuff. Listen, who was it? SideQuest investor.
Who?
You and I talking. No, his name is SideQuest.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's all right. He's on a side quest while he's investing. So that's some good stuff over there. All right, guys. $225. For those who know 225, man. I asked Sharif if he knows 225. He doesn't know him, but for those in the chat who do, he's got a lot of open interest there, man. 65,000 contracts open. That actually grew in size from the last time we looked at it. So there is some downward pressure. And if we go back throughout the week, we can see that we have that continuous push. As soon as we run into those levels, we just have the inability to hold that $225 marker. So yeah, until this clears up and maybe we get a little bit of a rollover. Ozan, did you say you were buying shorting calls, at this just above the strike? So it's a really good way. I think what Ozan man may have got going on as well too, and I think it's a really good system methodology, method-wise, is that you see these call walls established and then you hide yourself behind them, right? Because this is where the larger participants are placing their bets. So by the end of the week, I do believe, even though we're about 40 cents away from this marker, we might have some trouble breaking above 225 and holding it. With that being said, we can always go over to our next expiration cycle to see where the size is laying. What we do have is $240, but I want to see the rollover first. It's either it's going to dwindle, slowly start to evaporate, or we see that concentration at this strike price again, once again expiring on the 21st of August. I feel you got a lot going on there, or you're
go ahead, brother. Of course.
Yeah. So here it is. So SanDisk, as Sia was mentioning not too long ago, these guys are on a roll. Apes together strong, and that's what these
God, it looks like a small
11%. So this is what I would classify as a pretty good trend line break, right? So shout out to the Kospi. Now, we were talking about this a couple of days ago. It may take a little bit longer for things to get engaged, but now at this point, I would personally wait for a pullback, post up at the lower end of this range, maybe at like $1,400, $1,350, and then I do believe you're going to go on a nice little run. Now, the question following is, do we put in a new high? What is it? You guys want to know what the question? All right, here it is.
Even Katina Man wants to know, bro.
Hold on. All right, we'll hit the stone cold for that, leaving you guys in wait. Do we establish a new all-time high, or do we put in a lower high and then start to pull back and chop around a little bit?
What is this?
SNDK. Yeah, the disc. The disc man himself. Remember having a Walkman? Those were good times, man.
Those were great times, bro.
I don't even know if Sia, I wonder, that's a good question, Tiffany and Sia, if they ever had Walkmans. But here it is.
Discmans probably for sure. Did you have a Discman
so you said
growing up?
CJ?
Did you have a Discman growing up? It's a CD player that's kind of portable, like an MP3 player, but it just puts a CD.
My dad had that.
Your dad had it, yeah.
No, but he did. He had one that he carried when you'd go on.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, but that's what you do. It's like it was before the iPod came out. Anyways, aside from that, let's see what happens here in SanDisk.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, no, it's honestly what's it called? A lesson in context here. Like what is completely normal to you, completely foreign to somebody else, right?
Yeah, like I don't even know if Sia had the original, like if she knew about the original iPods. Remember those things? Those things were like.
You know about the original iPods?
Fun fact: my dad's first phone was an iPhone 4S that I used for like years.
So you know.
I got my first own phone, so iPod and iPhone 4S were like a staple in our house.
I like that.
All right, I like the
Very
Nano.
Cool.
You know what they should do? They should bring back the Nano because it was really good for running. You just clip that bad boy on there. You know what I mean?
Bro. And the storage density now is like far higher than it was. You can
instead of like the 150 songs that you could put
on,
you could have a
absolutely Assassino. We can't make Assassino wait.
Yeah, we'll see what happened.
Go home today.
Do you remember what happened this morning?
Exactly. When he came up, my hand started shaking.
I was scared too.
It was shaking. He came up like that. Assassino, we love you, brother. Quick reminder, Trader TV Live members get Sharif's mine. Daily, morning, research note every single trading day that I'm in the house, baby. We're talking about the big market stories, the key technical levels. How about the trade plans so you know how to get in and get out? The catalyst and what we're actually watching into the open. It is only $4.99 a month. And as the Katina Man puts very eloquently, it's about a cup of coffee a day, babe. Not even. It's 20 pennies a day. It's like a cup of coffee a month. I mean, oh my goodness. You also get members-only videos. You get posts. You get custom emojis. And you get loyalty badges. If you want to join, super simple. Hit join right below this video right now, $4.99 a month. You won't be disappointed. Thank you to everybody who joined. And of course, thank you to KC526 for putting so many memberships in so many of our viewers' hands because of her generosity, giving so many of these memberships out. We thank her for that, and we thank everybody for joining. All right, HCTI, Joey, it's got a lot of higher lows on the 5-minute chart. It doesn't have higher highs, and it's got a lot of topping tails. So this concerns me a little bit here. It's a 179 high. There's clearly a very aggressive seller and or short seller in the $0.75 area. And that does pose a bit of a problem here, at least on a micro time frame, because we're looking for $2. Bovin thinks this can get to about 230. I happen to agree, especially if we're going to take out area highs here, 76. We're looking to see what kind of sellers come in specifically at this level. I want to see where they're setting up. 77, 78, 79, 80. That's a new high a day, but there's no continuation. I'm waiting at 82s, and then I'm waiting at 95s. And then if we get into 2 and we clear 2 pretty decisively, we're going to get in, and there it goes into a new area high, Assassino, 189, 190, 191. Here we go again. We're looking for 195s, and then we're looking for 2s. We're going up to Sia. She's got news.
U.S. are falling a little bit here. You've comments coming in from U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saying that U.S. can hold blockade for as long as needed. USO currently falling. Nothing too crazy, not an insane volume spike, but just something for you to know.
394. Now we're looking for 95s here. 94, Bovin. Let's go. We're looking for 95s. I'm seeing 95. Boom. Here comes $2. All right. So it is now officially a 202 high. I didn't see it even get up to 2. That's how quick it was. So here's what we're going to do, Joey Opsh. We're going to set up at 203. Okay. Let's see if we can test liquidity in and around that area. Now we know the sellers are going to come in at the whole dollar, all right? Because myself included, I'll be selling here and I am selling here, right? Oh. And so think about, the double selling at key levels. So if you're a newer trader, you're wondering, why does it always reject at the whole dollar? Why is it always rejecting at the half dollar, or the opposite? Once it dips into the whole dollar, why does it find support there? Well, think about what I'm doing. Think about where you want to take profits, right? A lot of people want to take profits at $2. A lot of people want to get in at $2. And that's how support and resistance works, my man.
Bang, man. Yeah, same, Rich, buddy. I mean, hey, it is what it is. So what are we looking at here, guys? Let's head over to the gang here. Man, SK Hynix going absolutely crazy here this morning. Just very, very shallow pullbacks helping drag the overall market up here. Here's DRAM. We were talking about this $55 level holding up on this bad boy. Boom, off to the races it goes. So multiple trend lines being breached and broken here, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Seagate. I told Sharif, man, you better get on the phone with these guys. Computer needs a little more memory. Then we'll call them up. So here it is.
Better come packing with some money, Joey.
Oh my guy!
Especially the way that the RAM and storage costs.
Yeah, everything. You got to check the budget then, my guy. So SanDisk and Micron. 6.9 there. Katina man liking that one as we're rocking. The eyes is getting tight. That's for sure. SanDisk, man, Micron, these things are going absolutely insane bright and early this morning. NVDA, listen, I said to Sean, I'm like, you know what? The Nasdaq is on a mission. I truly believe we're going to be heading towards the all-time highs, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be climbing like this. So now we're only a couple of percentage points off of that level, 2.25, and it's the exact same thing here with here with NVDA, right? So we're down 5%. It may take a little bit longer, but oh my days, like, come on, just give me a nice, decent pullback into this gap fill so I could just load the boat on some more, grab some all the way up for the break, and then I was going to use a reference, but I forgot. It slipped my mind here.
That's all right.
I mean, in a perfect world, that's what everybody remembers that movie. I believe it's Costner, Kevin Costner, great movie. Sharif does remember that one.
I do remember, but like every other movie, I haven't seen it.
You haven't? Oh, wow, that's crazy. All right.
I'm sorry, brother.
So yeah, I mean, other than that, a perfect world, great movie. $300 is going to be your
Waterworld.
That movie blows, man.
It sucks so much, man.
That's crazy.
They're just sitting there looking. Yeah. Like, why does he have gills, man?
He has gills. Yeah. He has gills, man. Because he adapted, man.
Yeah, man. Adapted. That takes like millennia.
Yeah, but that's what happens in Waterworld. Things happen quick. But no, $300 being the primary target here for yourself. Here on myself here on NVDA. Regardless of how long it takes, the longer it takes. Guess what, Sharif?
What?
I get to own more.
You get to own more.
Yeah, exactly.
And that means more profits.
And it means more profit.
Gets higher.
Exactly.
Right?
So that's the objective of this. I was going to say something, but maybe I'll save it for a little bit later. No, it's all good here. It's all good in the hood, especially in the north side of Toronto. But other than that, Salesforce was positive this morning. Not so much here today as it started to sell right out of the gate, out of the open. Now, a lot of people.
What are we going to do with that name, Joey? What are we going to do with this name?
I don't know.
Can you put the weekly on that if you don't mind for a second?
Well, I mean,
take a quick look at what the hell this thing's doing.
Why do we got to put salt in the wound of Mark Benioff?
I don't mean to put salt on your wound. I know
I don't own it. Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. So, like, let's just see. Well, there's There may be a time to buy this. That's a monster.
Well, if you were going to, it's definitely in that
Keep
lower.
going. Let me just
Want
see
to
a
zoom
little
out
bit
more?
Yeah, just to get an idea of where the technical levels are coming in. Yeah, see that area low? That bad boy right
This
there.
right
Yeah,
here?
what's that?
124, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, but we already
125.
bounced off that, man. I
Yeah.
don't know if we're going to see
That's
that, to
150
be honest.
though. You got that 150 there, my guy.
Yeah, but you're looking at this. But we bounced already
we
right
got to
here.
hold a higher low, and that's kind of what I was looking at.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to get 125
Jeez,
here in Benioff and company.
Yo, I think he might get kicked out of the Dow.
Yeah, probably.
You know, like if it keeps going this way, he's
Yeah,
gonna get
what is he
kicked
going
out.
to do, man? He's going to,
I'm
like,
just saying.
yeah.
He may not
there's
find
much this
himself
guy
in
can
the
do.
US 30 anymore, my boy.
Probably.
He might be out. We'll see. All right, guys. Joey, 218 high on HCTI. We're waiting at the $0.25. We got 59s on. It's clearly having trouble with 2. This is a topping till candle that's that just closed. Now the current candle is a doji candle doing nothing. So I don't know how this cookie crumbles, but what I do know is there's a clear area of resistance at 170. Thankfully for me, I'm in at 159. Meaning what? Meaning if this bad boy comes into 170, I'm going to be waiting to add a little bit more. So let's see how this ends up dropping. Now, it may not even glance back at 170. It could come into 190 or whatever, or it could go straight line into 250. We'll see how this ends up going. 210 showing up. Looks like the bid was picking up there pretty aggressively. I just want to see where the sellers are coming in, because they're not coming in only at 18s. They're coming in at 10s here. And it looks like they're a little bit more aggressive, taking it below 10, 7s, 8s, 9s is where they're posting orders. So unable to see anything above 10 in the last little while. So let's see how HCTI goes. I was looking at hoping for a setup here on FGI because it's so volatile, and you know this could rip your face off both ways. There's a 10.5 area support here where I got in originally, and I don't know if this gets tested again, because right now we're at 11. It's an unbroken downtrend on FGI. A symphony of lower highs ever since putting in that essentially 12 and a half. It's technically 1248 high a day. And now we're at 11. But the wick comes in to 10 and a half, while the closing prints for the most part do hold up at 11. And that jives with previous area of resistance as well, especially if you look at that 1030 in a candle high. It wasn't 10 and a half, it was 11. We'll see how this goes. Oh my days, there goes HCTI into a new area high. It is a 230 high a day. That means we got the print at the $0.25. It is up 75%. This thing does not have a red candle on my 5-minute chart here.
Man.
Yeah, bro. It's all gas, no brakes, my man. Look at this, Joey. Since the breakout, look at this.
Talking about the market, something might have just stepped in.
I don't have the Twitter thing anymore, so we're gonna have to rely on
posted
CN
on that,
right?
man.
So
All
anything
right.
you see, let us know. Yeah. HCTI here, guys. As I mentioned, there are no red candles on this bad boy ever since 10:40 a.m. on the 5-minute chart. It is very strong. Let's see where this gets. Where's Bovin? Boom! Show me the money. Let's have some fun. That's what I want to see, man. There's my man with a great attitude. Shout out to my man Bovin. Keep your eye out on HCTI.
Yeah, all right, guys. So we posted right there at 3650s. This is like my second largest position of the day. It flushes down on heavy volume, and then we get a nice little pop up. Listen, I'm giving this 5 cents, so I can't give it much till 45. So we're in at 50s. Even though it says I'm not in a position right now, I am, and it's very clear that we caught this fill, and I was like, whoa, what was that? So let's see if we get a sustained bounce. If not, we're gonna have to get out of this one relatively quick. So yeah, just going right back to where we were before. We had that initial pop. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Anyways, I was looking for some of this support system to step in, but the market really starting to come back in. There we go, we're out. We have to pay attention to those. So we take a hefty hit on some big time shares on that 5 cent, just using the low as our out. Let's send it over to the desk.
Yeah, keep an eye out on Meta falling here a little bit. So Meta has joined the HBF consortium. That is the high bandwidth flash consortium, the specification of which has been released. So in August 2026, the first HBF spec that has been released, inaugural high bandwidth flash specification that has been published, and the consortium keeps expanding. Meta has been named in that too. Meta falling on that news.
For that, Sia, and this is what I was looking at. So as soon as the Nasdaq failed to put in that high, man, oh man, that's okay. So we're back at. I'm gonna go back at 50s here. take one more attempt on it, but you can clearly see that there's downward pressure. Trav, man, you hit that on the head. Maybe I should just avoid looking for the sustained long just in case we have that continuous downward pressure from the market makers selling shares from that 225 marker, right? So they just keep hammering it, hammering it, hammering it. Let's see if we can post up here one more time. Listen, same thing, 5 cents. Let's see if it's going to get us once again. We're out at 45s. If not, we're going to be looking for a pop at least into 50, 55, 60s at least so we can get a one-to-one. We need a bigger move this time, Sharif. Why? Because we just took a 5-cent hit. So 15 cents would be preferable. That's going to put us at 65s, but you can see the continuous downward pressure. I think I might be fortunate if we do let that happen. But again, I believe we're in at a right space. Now it's up to the trading gods and whether or not we're going to allow this trade to work or not.
All right, man. I tried to get back in for like a fraction of the size HCTI for a hold of prior bar low, which was 194. So I put my stop at 193. It failed, so I'm out. But what I want to point out here is FGI has a buyer in the mid 1080s, and that buyer has been there now for almost half an hour. Now, the problem is it's not giving you the higher high look. It's currently holding current support. The problem is it's a lower high trend. That could mean flat bottom break unless we can clear prior bar high, and we haven't done that. Let's go back to see it.
An eye out on U.S., so it's falling a bit here. These comments are coming in from the Wall Street Journal saying that the United States is preparing to send the aircraft carrier USS George Washington to the Middle East to replace the USS Abraham Lincoln as part of a previously scheduled rotation plan, according to the U.S. officials familiar with the matter. Also, the Lincoln has undergone an extended deployment with few port calls, prompting lawmakers to raise concerns about living conditions aboard the ship. You have USO that's falling a little bit here that had a major volume spike when this came out as well. And just that's the news. USO that's currently down 0.61% on the day.
All right, well, that 1080 seller got clipped, but that 10.5 ended up holding. I'm not going to pick this up on a downtrend. On last week, I would have bought this on the downtrend. But what I've seen this week, you're not going to get me 4 days in a row. You got me 3 days in a row. You won't get me 4. So I am not buying FGI on this downtrend, whether or not 10.5 held up again. It is a downtrend. I will not buy into a downtrend this week. It is not the week for that. Last week, you could have bought anything, within reason, and it would have spiked up like that. That isn't the week, right? And down goes Frazier again. Buyer at 75. I just want to see if this one loses 10.5. So I love that. Fool me. You can't fool me again. That was the best slide. Because you could just see, I'm talking about George Bush, of course, him just looking into the camera and like reciting in his mind. He's like, what was it again? And he's looking at everybody. He's like, maybe somebody in the crowd will help me out. Nobody helped him. And it was just like crickets. You got that SSE? A cricket sound there? There's my man. There's my man. So it was one of the best ever, man. So shout out to James or George Bush. Wick James, challenge Sharif. I'm not going to challenge him, man. He's got Secret Service. Boy, he gets Secret Service for life. Actually, he has what's it called? He gets security clearance for life, brother. Doesn't he get to hear or get to sit down and get like intelligence updates whenever he wants, unless the current president removes it from him? That's my understanding anyway. Ozan, buy it, full push, no stop. I hate you, Ozan. You always try to get me in trouble, bro. Shout out to, yeah, I gotcha. All right, that's all I've got at the moment. HCTI breaking down, FGI, not to my liking. I just won't buy into a downtrend. So let's bring in the side charts and see exactly what is holding up. So, nothing is. FFAI failed. ANGX, 2 sideways for me. Rumble, bleeding its own blood. MXCT, very slow mover, but finding support at around 145. Not going to buy this. Bullish, not a small cap gapper. Reported earnings, surprisingly good, but not a true small cap gapper play. Blicky, it became even more legendary when J. Cole used the soundbite in a song, man. Well, yeah, obviously he's great. Ozan, for a change, I got a small cap XHG, and it got cooked. Who do I complain to for compensation of my one XHG share? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe the CEO, the trading gods. You're going to have to find somebody to complain to, Ozan. But are you still in Destin, buddy? Or did you head home back to Dallas? Or are you still enjoying your time in Florida? Let us know, Ozan, because we're a little jealous here. But Joseph Option.
Yeah.
What happened?
We got shut down.
You got shut down?
Yeah, we're done.
That's all right,
we were
bro.
pushing heavy sides there.
happens.
Told you guys up, down, and around, left, right, and center. So there it is, looking for the long. Nice, Scott H. Congratulations to you. I should have took this short right here, but that's the end of the day for the kids. So it's bright and early here. What time is it? How much time do we have left? Man,
Just flip the sim,
hours,
brother.
Never punch
Flip
keys
the
on
sim, man.
Anyways, aside from that, like this should have been the entry right here, and I was just like, all right, let's go. Let's see what we get now. Sure enough, it can snap back. So, yeah, I got back, except for I have no control over that. So, yeah, I mean, still a lot of time here left in the day. It is what it is. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I could care less. Anyways, so here it is, guys. Nasdaq not looking too bad. I mean, the chip names are strong. It took a while for the short to happen. And I mean, if we just got out right here when we were supposed to, then I think the narrative of this session would be significantly better. But yeah, those strong downticks here and no rebound in NVDA as we push south of 225, just absorbing liquidity. So yeah, I mean, other than that, we can head over to our watch list and see what we got going on here now. Boom, 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 APLD. I mean, this thing was on a big-time run as of late. Trade Desk, CoreWeave, Reddit, Bloom Energy. Looking pretty good here today, especially off of that bounce, off of those lows. 31%. 31% to off this local low right here, Sharif. So not too bad of a look.
Pretty well though, Joey.
What are we down? And we're down 31%.
Consolidation area, and the fact that it just comes into there, holds a consolidation.
Yeah, man, that's good.
I like that.
That's a good hold right there, my guy. So. Yeah, I mean, that's looking pretty good there. Planet Labs, do we even talk about this name anymore? 51, this thing's cut in half. 51% to the downside. Caterpillar, how's Burry Boy doing? Boy Burry, down 20%, so not too bad of a look. But, hey, listen, you know, I don't like to pour salt because, hey, things happen. But I don't know if he has a 210 average price here on NVIDIA. I don't know if he's averaging up or doing whatever he's doing, but you're $14 OTM on that one. So not too good. Maybe he's just going to continuously add, but I don't know if that is the best bet to do. But yeah, I mean, that's the end of the day. We won't be trading anymore for me.
I'm telling you, just go into sim, brother.
I'm all right.
Why not, man? All right, above in. I don't mind this XHLD thing. And the reason is I want to make this point because you pointed this out to me yesterday. And you pointed it out to me bright and early. I was like, Bovin, look, you know, this looks flat top breakish, ascending wedge pattern, right? You've got that accumulation with area highs going into about 475, and then it flat top broke. So today it doesn't look as appetizing just because the volume bars are a little meek compared to yesterday's volume bars. And, you know, look, I can look at a chart, having done this now for almost 7 years, is I can tell you immediately whether this is doing volume or not, just based on the way the candles look on the chart. And this one is not doing volume. But I do like the chart pattern, Bovin. And that's the thing. I do like these higher low patterns into that flat top. Now, the flat top to me is between 580 to 590, closing prints in the 80s, topping tail candle in the 90s, right? So that's what I'm looking at there. I do like that. Shout out to my man, Bovin. But I'm also keeping a close eye here on FGI.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Chester. Wow. Oh,
shout out to Chester.
Chester, thank you.
Here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of bottoming tail candles form on FGI, and this one feels like that 10.5 level is the real deal. How many times are we going to bottoming tail candle off 10.5? The problem, though, is we're just not putting in higher highs. You're like, okay, well, this candle technically is now, right? But not by a lot. All right, let's see if we can get above 11.5 here on FGI. If we can, I'm going to get back into this. 1138, 1140. Let's see what we get here. I'm going to get into an entry-level position, small position here, with a view to adding more above a decisive 11.5 take. So that's what I'm going to look for here. 32 seller. Let's see if we can possibly get a move above an 11.5. So FGI, the one I'm involved in right now, got to tell you though, small size until we decisively clear 11.5. 40 showing up, seller at 40. Let's see how many shares he's got there. He just got killed. They killed him, Joey, into about 47. Looking for a move above 50. Look at the tape really pick up as we get close to that resistance level. Into 63 it goes. Taking profit, 71. Looking for 80s here. We're going to post at 82. Let's see if this fails. And then I'm going to actually post above 12. We're going to go 12.15. Down goes Frazier. It's going to limit down, isn't it? All right, right back into 40s. Is this an opportunity for me to add? That's a thing. I don't think so, though, man. Down, look at this, losing the bid entirely. I'm going to hold this. Into 11, still a higher low. See if this holds up into 11 or into 10.5 because that's a level. Let's put some orders. Let's put some orders at the third of $1 as well. I'm going to put high thirds here. Right back up into 25. Big seller at 25. My order didn't fill because that monster seller was there. They killed him. Took out that seller. 30s now showing up. Looking for a move above 30. We got 33s posted there on the gateway, giving me an 11.17 cost basis. But there's a seller at the third of $1. We took out the $0.25 seller. Couldn't take out the third. They killed him again. There it is. Good move above the third. Now looking for half. So that's what we're looking at right now, Joey. FGI, I mean, really, it's the only one that I can keep an eye on here because everything else is either breaking down or just not doing volume.
All right, you want to try one of these? They're pretty
What
good.
is that?
It's good. It's a peach. I mean, sorry, a mango. So yeah, I mean, there it goes. Things turn around, right? That's very, very good. I wonder if I think they sell those at Dollarama. If that's the case, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So here it is, 42. We tried again, man. 3 attempts on this. Probably should have gave it up or be a little bit more patient. But it is what it is, and you make the decisions. And when you make your bed, you gotta sleep in it. Here it is, 36.40, try again. It gets the 3-pop, man. Just pushing too heavy, but too tight of a stop on these. It takes price to turn around. It takes price a little while to turn around. So, yeah, tough look there. Let's head over to our scanner. Shreve's got the small caps on lock here today. We'll take a look at some of the larger caps and see what we got going on from a volume standpoint. SNXX, Trader 2X long SanDisk ETF here, going from $11.21 all the way up to $15. That's 33%. Where's my guy iGrow, TSLL? Are we at $10 yet for you? No, not yet. Man, see, that's the thing. These things take forever to regain any form of like, again, they get hit so heavy. Yeah, all right, of course. They get hit so heavy, and then sure enough, when things start to look right in the actual underlying asset, they take significantly longer to recover. So here goes this. Good times over here as we run right into our targets on this bad boy, 20 cents just like that. So the stock does recover. Got to be patient and wait for those bets. What's up, Ram? Hope you're having a good day.
Where were you when I needed an advo?
Oh, where were you now that I need ya? Here's K-Web. K-Web to the downside here, Sharif. It was funny. I was actually thinking about this name, 36.55. All right, man. Now we're just starting to rub it in our face here. Couple of attempts. Yeah, not very good there, Sharif. Bang. Shebang on that one, 36.40. Now printing 60s momentarily when we're going to wait for our target. Mamma mia.
There's a great question here for you, brother.
What's it?
I want to throw this question your way. It's from Storio14. Very astute question.
What is it?
Listen to this, Joey. This may be a silly question. It's actually not at all. But when you are trading the leveraged ETFs specifically, are you using VWAP as a marker for the ETF name or the underlying or both?
That's a great question.
Pretty astute question, man.
I think, think about it. It's a 1 to 1. It should be like whatever the ratio is.
Yeah.
Should be relatively close.
Yeah.
Right? Like in regards
How
to
about we do a quick test?
Yeah, we could do that,
We could do that. What do we got? We got a bunch of SMCI leverage names today, Joe.
We'll go what we got shut down with on my guy, NVDA and NVDL, and see what we got. You can see the correlation between price, right? So, I mean, it's roughly around the same thing. So it's not going to change. So NVDL, we'll go NVDL up here as well too. So you can see kind of how the comparison there. So yeah, same thing on both of them. So it is a really good question. But
it is. I thought it was.
Yeah. But
and I know just from my own experience that they're pretty similar. And usually they have similar peaks and troughs too. So you'll see like the chart on one will look almost identical to the other. Now the liquidity is a little different, right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Man,
all right. 60s. Continuing to watch here. FGI looking for some dip trades to happen. We've got some higher lows. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to play this range with that 10.5 buyer. I'm not looking for a prior bar low loss. That would be some trouble. I'm talking always on the 5. but we have a very small position here, so we're building into it. Let's see how this goes, and then we'll report back to you, good or bad. Now, a lot of you guys have been calling out GXAI, Bovin included. I don't like it. I don't like it simply for the reason that it is trading below the volume weighted average price and has a downtrend, right? This one popped off in the aftermarket yesterday, so it's not a new trade in the sense that it showed up this morning or in the afternoon. Big move right there at 410. Absolutely rip city. Rip city. This was 87 pennies close. With all said and done, at the high, the aftermarket, we got to about 158, 160. That's a big move, about 80%. But I just want to show you this. This is the problem. Look at all these area lows here, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high. In fact, you're not getting much in the way of higher lows either. So it is a bit of a downward channel. I don't want to trade this. You can trade it if you'd like. I would suggest trading it as a range in the downward channel until you get a breakout. I personally would be looking for a breakout above the 1015 bar high, which is the official high of the day at 1044. That changes trend, right? Because you're getting all these lower highs. You're not getting any higher highs. How does that change? Well, you got to take out the prior area high. So in a 144, pardon me, break and take probably gets me into the trade. There goes FGI into the quarter dollar. We got 1101 on this one, showing 25s. We're looking for more, man. We're looking for a bigger move up. The problem is we keep putting in higher lows with no higher highs. So maybe the good times are not going to last on this one, Joey. Maybe I should get out while I can. Here comes 33, man. We're going to wet the beak here since we've got some shares on this one now, right? Because we got a nice little dip trade there in the high 10s, but we're not out of the water because that 33 print that I had waiting there has gone unfilled multiple times, despite the fact that the ask shows 33. But every time it moves up into 1133, for whatever reason, the spread opens up bigly, as this guy would say, right? And, clearly there's somebody selling up a storm at 11 1/3, which is putting a damper on my long party over here. So let's see how this cookie crumbles.
Right on, as Mr. Matthew McConaughey used to say. Yeah, now you sit on top of this. Guys, you can see there's a clear resistance zone. So hopefully you guys had the ability to hold on to this a little bit longer because I figured that the snapback would happen. Just timing was slightly off on that one. Now, as for that bull, I'm sure we got to we'll hit the...
Wow.
A Tesla.
What is that, by the way?
It's just like what they do now in like all the memes and stuff.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's just like, psh, yeah, it's like, bah.
Love it.
Yeah. So when you have like a crazy take, you go, right? You know what I mean? And see what's going on with that one there. Clean Spark Shreve. I don't know if you're a shareholder of this guy. Yeah, CLSK. I don't know.
One of the better ones in 25, if I recall, right?
Still down 37% off of the highs, but. Fabian, I need the smash. Like, you know how they have the fa and then the bang that they have in it? It's like, dude.
He doesn't ask for much around here. Fabian just said to him, you want my firstborn child?
The disrespect around here is crazy, man.
Wow, man, it's not even that disrespectful. Joey.
Get that out of here.
Oh, no, he's giving him the heart. Yeah. He drops a hot line at him, then he gives him the heart.
See, the thing is, I was going to donate to Fabian's cause. I'm no longer doing that.
How about like the people who are going to benefit from Fabian's cause to just do it to spite Fabian?
Yeah.
Come on, Joey. Boom! We're $1 in the money, man. Here we go on FGI into 1188. It goes. We got 1088. Now I'm waiting north of 12. Let's go, Bovin. 80 seller here. We're looking for a breach of 12. We've broken trend, ladies and gentlemen. We've breached prior bar high. We just need a decisive clearing of 12. That has been the resistance level on the day. I'm waiting on purpose north of 12 to test liquidity options, man. Here comes 1194. We're looking for that. I think I'm waiting at, you know what, man? I'm canceling the order, man. I'm putting it above high a day like a psycho. We're going to put it at 1269, Ozan. Come hell or high water. We either take 1269 or we get stopped out. Simple as that. Let's see.
It's a good movie.
What?
Hell or High Water.
Yeah? Are you getting me?
No,
Was there a movie called that?
Yeah.
That's my sister's expression all the time. She always says that. She's like,
hell or high water.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do sports and stonks. I wish I say that to my buddy all the time because he has 3 kids. And I'm like, yeah, always. And he's like, no, man, I can't have kids. I'm like, never mind those kids. All right, guys, let's move over and see how we got. It's been a lot of fun here. so far today, regardless of what some of the outcomes may be. We're going to be rocking and rolling. And tomorrow is Friday, just in case you didn't know, Sharif. JPMorgan also, if you weren't aware, on the fact that JPMorgan, I do believe, hit all-time highs once again this morning to $366. We'll hit the stone cold on that one. Yeah, we've just been fortunate to be buying this. When it was at a 20% discount, I'm like, what the is even going on here? And then Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley were outpacing it. I'm like, oh, that's not good. What's going on here?
Not good, Joey.
Yeah, I know, because we had a lot of issues going on with private credit. But I'm like, hey, you know what? I did a little research on it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not as worried as some of the stream maybe. And then sure enough, we've seen that displayed. We're getting that 112 hold. We're up to 115 here on Walmart. So Walmart not doing too bad, even though slightly negative here today. Costco or Walmart here. Which one would you guys prefer in your long-term portfolio? Still not getting that split. We were up to $1,100, and there's no talks of that. So I wonder what's going on over there. Get more retail involved with Costco, even though I don't think it would be one of the more liquid names, to be honest with you, and not very commonly traded. Just like Netflix. Netflix was hot for a couple of days. It was hot, then it's not. I think Sean wanted to make that a new. Check the website, Sharif says, on this one. Down 30% from that pivot alone. But then if you zoom out a little bit here, now we just slow things down a little bit and see what we got going on. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Our boy, who was it again? I can't remember his name. Who was buying some here bright and early this morning? 43% still to the downside. Listen, I do believe there is some upside movement within Netflix, but again, Sean brought to the point that, like, hey, it's getting to be a really crowded space. Now they do have live sports. I believe Jake Paul's MVP merged with the PFL, so you won't have the single MVP promotions. PFL, I believe, already has a deal with DAZN, so I don't know how that's necessarily going to work in regards to Netflix. Maybe they won't have any more Netflix viewing, but some of the boxing matches, Zuffa isn't on there, but some other of the fights are premiered on Netflix, which is pretty good. I think it draws a lot of eyes, especially those big name fights, the Mike Tysons, the Jake Pauls. I believe the Canelo and Crawford fight was on there as well, too. So live sports definitely doing their wonders. As for content, I remember I was reading this article a while ago, and it was in great debate, the fact that, hey, should they be releasing full series, like 7 episodes or 5 episodes at a time, or should it be that weekly basis? Personally, I don't mind. I like, obviously, the initial one, just release everything all at once, but then what happens is people chew up your content too fast, and if you don't have plenty of things in the pipeline, then it's just people slowly start to weave off the platform. So other than that, and there's other disruptive services that we won't mention here in regards.
We're not going to mention them, eh, Joey?
With the I, it starts with IP, ends with TV. It's crazy, no?
He's just,
yeah,
it's like
right?
on the border there.
Yeah.
You know what, man?
What's up?
I don't feel bad.
Why would it? Why would
What? The telecom
supposed
companies
to? I know, hold
are
on,
some of
time
the
out.
biggest thieves.
Are you supposed to?
Well,
No, it's that's a genuine
trademark
question.
it, you know? Whatever. Let's see what C has
Yeah,
to say, and
let's
then
go.
we'll come back.
Not a crazy move in Cerebras here. CBRS just had a minute downtick. CEO of Cerebras saying for the business to grow at exceptional rates.
Thank you very much, Sia. I hope they are exceptional rates. LMNI being called out here. Why do you keep telling me LMNI, brother? I keep typing it in, nothing comes out. LMNI. Did I type it right? Yes, I did. Just tag me again, Gamecraft Nico, because that's I think it's LIMN, right? You're talking about LIMN, Gamecraft Nico, because it's this one. I'm assuming it's up 63%, probably what you're looking at there. I do like this to an extent. I'm not very pleased with the fact that it spent the majority of the morning below the volume weighted average price, but I am buoyed by this upward channel. And now we're kind of hanging out at the volume weighted average price. So my inclination is to say, trade this as a range until it shows you otherwise. Super simple, right? No problems there. You buy at 16 pennies, you sell around 18. You hold a piece for the dream, lest this one take out 20 or 20 and a third, which is the high of the day. I'm sorry I didn't put in the ticker for everyone to follow, LIMN. So that's how I view this one. I view this as a range until it shows you that, you know, the range is breaking down. Now, it can happen both ways. FGI is about to take out 12.5. I've got 12.69 as my next profit taker. It is a 12.48 high a day. I know I don't have it on the screen, but I can see it on the side. So you can break down both ways here. You can break out or you can break down. You break, oh my days, it actually filled me. 13.02 high, 13.02 limit up on FGI. This is really going now. 65 million shares, showing 97s. Bro, I just threw out that 69 as just like, you know what, in giggles, and it got filled into the freaking high of the day. 13.02 high. Watch out, FGI now. We could see 15, right?
Who hit that one?
I love it though, bro. We got to get that on my stream deck, bro.
Get that one.
No, seriously though, guys, look at the tape. The tape's moving crazy now because everybody and their mother's getting involved. Watch out for a loss here. I can't quite see what limit down is, but limit up is 13.42. Limit down just flashed, but I couldn't see it. In any event, look for a hold at 12, right? We had so much trouble with $12 as resistance. It stands to reason we act as support at some point. Just to bring back LIMN over here so I can finish my analysis on this one, you can break out of the range by making a new area high, or you can break down from the lower low. So that's what I would say. Watch out for a breakout or breakdown, but if you're insistent on trading it, trade it as a range initially.
All right. Yeah, good, nice move there, man. Post that up there and see if you can catch those orders to get filled. Yeah, hey, come on, Neo, man.
What do you say?
That's all good. Yeah, it's great. Dude, it's crazy, man.
Neo, the day I offer 68, I want to get fired.
Whoa.
From here. If I don't offer at 69, just show me the door, man. Show me the door, bro. I quit.
Weekly, yeah. Oh, you quit, man. That's crazy. CrowdStrike. What is PNW doing, Sharif?
Well, I don't know.
Tell him. What did you say this morning?
Well, it was almost at 400, brother.
Oh, 391.
Oh.
Man, 398.
Yo, it's synchronized eyeing.
But it is.
We're
man.
good.
That's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens when you own stock.
We're having a good time, guys.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are having a good time with us, obviously, right?
You know what day it is, right?
What is it, Joey?
It's Friday Junior.
Friday. I do like that. I'm gonna steal that.
You never heard that, bro?
No, I didn't, bro. I've never heard of Friday Junior.
That's crazy.
Should I just shut it down?
I thought I lived under a rock. Anyways,
oh my days, Joey! 1351, my boy. This is going, guys. But did you guys see the drop? Pop, shut him down, open up shot, man. 1351 high. It drops immediately below 13. Guys, this is the one here. It's picking up. The volume is there. We're likely on the way to 15. Trade it carefully. You can get killed trading this one. Right?
Killed is crazy, man.
I don't have a tendency at all for hyperbole, right?
Yeah,
I don't.
It's over. It's completely over.
We're having a good time, Joe. 1480 A triple plus says The Rock. 1710. What's up, Fabian? What? It's Jover.
Jover, yeah.
It's Jover.
That's what someone said yesterday. It's Jover.
Hoax, bro. I like that one. Joey, oh my Lanta. Here goes FGI, guys. Guys, this could see 15 pretty quickly. So if you're thinking 15 here, as am I, you're probably going to have to jump in soon because the bid is on. The bid is on. It's quite aggressive. It's a new high a day. There's a 68 seller. Into 88 it goes. Wow. Limit up is 1397. So FGI is him, her, and everything else right now. Watch out for a loss of 13. Here comes a new high a day into 89. My suggestion is you buy in the pullbacks here for a move above 14. So I'm going to flip to the 5-second chart. 1397 limit up here on FGI as it gets into the high day options, man. I just need to concentrate for a little.
Yeah, man, do your
there
thing.
Goes 14.
SanDisk up 13%, guys. I really do believe this is a good opportunity. If you're looking to get involved with some of these memory names, it's just waiting for this pullback now. Just with such strong sessions, I believe just considering we were cut in half at one point from peak to this local low, even more than that, 57%, closer to 58%. Now you've broken trend. Now I believe you're going to get a nice little pullback here, but you want to be patient and wait for an additional move. You don't want to chase anything right now, which I believe SpaceX is doing. I'll actually pull my chart right back down and see what we have going on SpaceX, because I was like, you know what, do I buy some more? Brendo sent Sharif and I a nice article. So Anthropic we're anticipating for late September, early October. But what I found absolutely insane is the fact that this company is 5 years old and it could potentially open up at over a $2 trillion valuation. That's insane. That's never been heard of. Think about how long it took the names in the top market cap names to get to $1 trillion. Like Google, Apple, NVDA, Microsoft, all the $1 trillion names, like decades. And these guys have done it in 5 years. Double that is absolutely astonishing in my opinion. I can't wait to get involved with it. Are we gonna go be buying some in the long term right out of the gate? I don't know. I want to get a little bit more detail leaning into the IPO, which can tell us a lot what it is from a subscribe standpoint. But like we've seen in SpaceX, is that there might be a couple of days of just flat out rallying. And if we know from a monthly active user standpoint, OpenAI, ChatGPT, 1 billion, Gemini has 1 billion across its ecosystem, and Anthropic actually, in my opinion, has the most room to grow, because last time I checked, it was sitting around 300 million monthly active users. I'm sure that metric has changed since then. I'm gonna figure out right now, but let's send it over to the desk. It's happening now, and then Neil with his lesson of the day.
Get it, Neil.
Let's take a look at the markets before we dive into what is happening now. You've the SPY that is up 0.42% on the day. The triple Qs are up very close to 1%, and the Dow that is down 0.15%. Let's take a look at the first thing that I want to talk to you about is Netflix that is up 3.3% right now. So shares of Netflix have climbed after Pershing Square Capital Management has said that it has taken a new position in the stock, which is what is causing this uptick over here. Also, another thing that I do want to mention is that coffee, U.S. coffee futures are up 13% over the past 3 months and have modestly beat the Van Eck Semiconductor ETF. This is just something that I found interesting. That is SMH also that is just up 2.2% after yesterday's close. Another thing to take a look at is the DRAM, that is a Round Hill Memory ETF, is little changed over the same time as well. So now coffee has even outpaced the broader market by a factor of 3 within the S&P 500 that has advanced 4.1% since mid-May. I just thought this was something cool I could just bring to your attention. And now, before we go back, let's send it to Neil for the lesson of the day.
Thank you, Sia. There's going to be 2 of them because one of them is unavoidable, Hertz. But the first one is going to be all about, we say patience, discipline, all that. Patience and discipline don't just mean that, oh, I'm getting out when I have to, I'm adhering to my stops, and I'm sticking to my plan. It also comes down to like your entry points. Because every single time I got stopped out of IBIT, I was listening to my plan. I like the short. I'd be back into 36.25 or 36.50. Yesterday was double barrel 36.50, and then the short was actually off 36.5. So that's the area I'm looking at. And the problem is, I love that VWAP entry point. And really, can't take the VWAP entry point because before any trade is entered, and everyone does their thing their own way, but you'll pretty much never hear or see me enter a trade if I'm not telling you, oh, I'm getting in here, I'm out there. And if my out is at the high, just taking it because it's starting to lose VWAP, like it wicked VWAP and then held underneath. The problem with that is I can take that shot, but I just got to find a tighter stop on it and take another trade. And then when it breaks this bottom down, I'm shorting it into what looks like a topping tail here, but it's pretty tight to VWAP. And again, the other issue is the stop is here, VWAP is there. It's not a good risk to reward off the volume weighted average price. Actually, the only entry that was any good on the way to the upside was this wick, and then trying to just drop it in underneath that wick, because that's a nice tight stop. And what it amounts to is, for myself, 1 for 4 and basically close to flat on a trade. Given the fact that this fully retraced on the trend break, I should actually be up on it. Because if I find that entry here, or just don't take it till the top, if I don't enter until this is challenging tighter, then I'm saving like half of the loss on those, and you're positive on it. And the other thing to consider is, well, if this is the golden zone at 36.25, then every ounce that you're farther away from that in an uptrend is a mistake, regardless of how it ends up, right? So it'll make the full retracement, fair enough. And there's always the other way that you can play this. Like if I had just been, every single time I was eating lunch there, so I'm kind of choking on something. If every single time I got into the short, as it got closer, I just doubled up the shares. That's one way to always make sure that if eventually you're holding it, you win. I don't really subscribe to that because what it means, like if you go 1 for 4, but you're just like this here, if that's 100, then that's 200, and then that's 400, and that's 800, then when you eventually win, you won't even need it to get back all the way. You'll just be green. What I don't like about that, if it blows through your price, you have like maximal loss, which I don't find to make sense. I want to try to find a way to work myself into what is always the same reasonable position with a good risk to reward. And sometimes just having the right out, which I want to adhere to, isn't enough. You need to also come up with an entry strategy that makes the risk to reward better. It can't just be VWAP to the high if VWAP to the high doesn't really fit your plan. So that's one that when I look back on it, I was like, well, I like entering at VWAP and giving it to the top, but it just doesn't quite work there. So I shouldn't have taken that initial trade, and I should have been a little bit more patient with the second one as well. These are the little things that can sort of keep you in the pocket. The other thing I have to get to is if you were following in the morning, then you might have heard us say the story about Ackman coming out of Hertz. And at the end of the day, if you don't have a news source that was real time, maybe this doesn't apply to you, but we do, and we did. We've got a Dara, and we can listen ourselves. But it was mentioned on the conference call. Here's the drop. It was mentioned on the conference call somewhere in here at about 10:27 that Ackman was out. 10:27. The drop comes on the 33 candle on the 3-minute. It sat there for about 3, 4, 5 minutes before falling. It's absolutely ridiculous not to have just been short. Like I'm kicking myself. We didn't have to pay for locates. I can't even say, oh well, I heard the story and then I had to go and log in to Metro, and which is what the internal thing here to be able to go pay for. No, you could have just sat there getting filled short 291. And the reason I'm not happy with myself is, okay, well, what if it's not confirmed a story? What if it's something that got misinterpreted on the call, and the reason why it's not reacting is because no one believes it until they get better reporting? That's all well and good, but your risk was 3 cents. Like the risk to reward in that situation is the stock's been squeezing for 2 days, and Ackman's out, and you can be short 91 with a 94 stop. Who the heck cares if it's real or not? If it goes all the way back to where it started from, that's 30 cents worth of upside for 3 cents worth of risk. I could care less whether it's confirmed or not. Like the story came out and you actually have an edge which no longer usually doesn't even exist in the market, which is that the algos would somehow have grabbed that one. And maybe it's because it was set on some kind of a call. I don't know why there was a delay for 3 or 4 minutes. I'm just kicking myself because there was one. And when it's not free money, there was risk. If it wasn't confirmed or if it was something misinterpreted, then it might break that out. But you can just be sitting in the trade with 3 cents worth of risk and look at how quickly it shoots down. Heck, if you sat on the bid at the low of the day, it ran through you. Like that 10-to-1 trade runs through you and goes another 20 cents to be 15, almost 20-to-1. Like just falling knife. So it's one of those situations where it's probably not going to happen very often, but if you ever find yourself with that kind of an edge, you take advantage. I've done it before. I might have told the story before. I was sitting in the pre-market and I saw a news report of this small company. It was about $2.50, forget the name of the stock, that was going to be bought for near $5 cash. And I call it up and I'm like, why isn't this moving? And then I read it again, and then I find another source and I read the terms of the deal. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I should just punch long. And I remember getting long under $3 in the pre-market. And all of a sudden, it just starts seeing, and then people start listening to the story. It's like, why didn't this go originally? For whatever reason, people weren't buying it up. It was a cash offer. The board had accepted. Everything about it was perfectly normal. And then I remember getting like a free $1.50 on the trade, free money. That's happened once in 20 years on a deal. But here, everybody had the chance to take advantage of this on Hertz. And so I'm kicking myself. Adara brought us a story. We even mentioned it a second time and kind of wrote it off because it wasn't moving. The fact it wasn't moving was a huge opportunity for a good risk to reward trade. Algos will make sure that doesn't happen often, but when you get that type of an edge, that kind of a trade is better than your regular I have to go hunt for levels nonsense. Like that's just a free 10-for-1 shot right there. And if the news is good, you're gonna sit in the wind because the market was delayed. So there's a couple of lessons for you. I've already eaten the chicken. Well, you can see a little bit of the chicken left for the lunch. A little pasta, and then I don't know. It was like a herb spiced grilled chicken. The vegetables are delicious. Little peppers and zucchini in there. So yeah, it's a solid lunch today. Pretty happy with it. Good luck. The Nasdaq is bouncing off the volume weighted average price. Hopefully get back to those highs. We got a 1% day, despite the fact most of the earnings weren't even that great. So you guys go back to the midday. Sharif, get them on those small cappers. And apparently, Sharif will always offer out at 69.
They'd fire me if I didn't, right? Like, I know, just be like, go home. VinFast reported strong, very strong Q2 momentum, guys, delivering more than 70,000 EVs globally. That is up 96% year over year. And the first half deliveries alone reached 129,000 vehicles, 78% year over year, reinforcing, of course, the company's growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. And by mid-year, they'd already achieved approximately 43% of both their 2026 4W and 2W delivery targets. That puts the company firmly on track across both growth engines. You know what the indicator is?
What's that?
It's the Neil Roberts indicator.
I've seen a VF8 on the road.
Well, you saw the VF8? You know, I have an affinity for the VF9. I've made that point very clear. But the Neil Roberts indicator is he saw VinFast for the first time yesterday.
And then bang.
He's timed punch, baby.
For the first time?
First time.
Oh, wow.
Well, on the road. I'm sure he's seen them before, but...
Seen a unicorn in the wild, my guy.
Oh, what is this?
Oh, man.
Cutting 28 inches live for Angel...
Whoa, I just switched that up.
Back.
And we were just
there we go. For Angel Hair for Kids by August 28th. We have already made, we've raised, one more time, Assassino, $872 of $5,000. Guys, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about here, we are talking about Fabian, the Chilean nightmare, as I call him. He's one of our production crew members here, and he has the best hair, bar none, in this studio. And he's going to give it all away for charity because that's the kind of guy
you actually
that he
doing
is.
It this time, Fabian?
Look at this guy, bro.
Do you want me to bring the clippers in? You want to fade, or what are you thinking? What do you want? Yeah, I could do it for you if you want.
Do you know what hairstyle you want to take on after you cut?
I was just gonna shave my head.
Just shave it all off?
Yeah. I definitely got you on the shave then.
Hey, I like that.
Sure, buddy.
No, but this guy, man, he's doing it. It's for a great cause. Fabian, you want to talk a little bit about the cause? Here it is, brother.
And put that mic on.
Yep.
One, he's not me, man.
Yeah, so the cause is basically they make wigs for children that are like going through different health difficulties.
For sure.
And I just imagine being a kid and being bald. Like Joe understands it right now, but like yeah, I don't want a kid going through that, and that's super difficult.
That's
and then
very kind of you, bro.
And then I think we have an audience that can definitely make a change, and I think we could do something good for some people.
That's amazing, man. And I see a lot of there's this commercial. It's called St. Jude's. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the commercial by St. Jude's. It's a free hospital for kids. It works entirely off donations. And, you know, a lot of the kids there have the condition that you were just talking about. They're going through chemo.
Yeah.
They don't have hair, obviously. And that, you know, just imagine that for an adult. Imagine that, superimpose that on a child.
Just like the self-esteem is just so brutal.
So it's very kind of you, brother, to be doing that. And very, very excited.
It literally
guys.
It costs nothing for me. It's literally just
how do they do this? How do they get fund? They have to scan that QR code.
Yeah, they can go to the QR code. It'll go to the website where they can. It's also in the chat.
It's in the chat.
And it's also in the description.
So it's at the bottom of the chat, guys. It's called Chop for Charity. It's literally at the bottom with that yellow moniker. It says Trader TV Live, right?
And it's even the traders can get like a nice donation receipt. You know, great for your taxes.
There you go. This guy's
yeah?
already thinking
Yeah,
fast.
100%. So another incentive for.
He's like, there's something in it for me. I love this guy, man. This
Yeah.
guy, watch out for this guy.
Why, man? That's
Definitely
crazy.
want to say thank you to all the people that already have donated,
man.
and I look forward to more to come.
Thank you so much, Fabian. Thank you for giving us the information behind that.
Not to shed light on obviously something that's very serious, but I like how Fabian emphasized how it's just destroying of the self-esteem, and it's like it's brutal. I'm like,
I think it's
alright.
entirely different for children. We can both agree on that,
That's
right?
what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
It was like, that's what as he was going on a little bit there, but no, in all seriousness, guys, it is serious.
You want me to look at the flights? I can check flights to Istanbul right now.
Well, how many? Well, I don't want to know the number, bro. It's NVDA shares. How many?
NVDA shares. You want to know how many NVDA
It's
shares?
gonna cost
Let me
me,
find you,
we'll
bro. I
determine if
got
that's
you. I
going
got you.
to be worth it at that point. All right, guys. So I wanted to touch on here momentarily what we were talking about before we get back into some of Sharif's trades. Now, Anthropic. This is going to probably be This is definitely going to be the second biggest IPO, probably next to SpaceX, but from a valuation standpoint, it can open up significantly more valuable, okay? But this company has 200 to 245 million monthly active users. That's a fifth of what we're seeing in Gemini and ChatGPT, okay? Gemini officially surpassed ChatGPT from a mouse standpoint, which I find extraordinary. And I think, Sharif, I've seen it. Don't when you laughing at me. Let me finish. Let me finish here. We're trying to be serious for like at least 30 seconds.
Sorry, brother. Sorry.
And then, all right, it's done now. I lost my train of thought.
Man, come on. Don't blame me, man. I'm sorry, man.
I got it back here now. No, in all seriousness, so if we're going to be looking at a runway, we know that Anthropic dominating from an enterprise standpoint, but if they gain the average user here and they go to 500,000, even close to 500 million and 750 million, then I think it's a completely different landscape. This technology is most definitely changing how we operate from our day-to-day standpoint. So yeah, I really like what's going on here with Anthropic.
Yeah, and Dara asked me this morning if that would be an IPO that I'm interested in. I'm absolutely interested in that. In the same way that I was interested in SpaceX, and Fabian very much interested in it as well. I think I'm going to buy that pretty aggressively. I like how that company is being run. I don't agree with everything that they do. I don't like the red capture kind of approach that Midday has taken, but nothing's perfect in life, right? You're not going to get that perfect company that does everything that you want. And so I think that they are the best in the business at the moment. I'm using them consistently. I have just so many different, what I call experts. So a lot of it's prompt engineering too, right? So I have a wellness specialist. I have a diet specialist because I have this aggravating foot condition. I have a foot specialist. I have an astrology specialist. I have a travel specialist, a hair specialist, a real estate specialist, and one for my old man's health, right? And I've tried so many different models for all these things. I've done the same thing that I'm using with Anthropic now on other models. None are as level-headed. None are as, just more human-like in their response than Claude. And so, I'd love to say Grok is the best. It's not. It's not. At least maybe the new one is, but I haven't had a chance to use it. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that comes out. We know though that they are targeting an early October, late September IPO. Yeah, a little bit of an echo, Fabian, on that.
To jump in.
Uh-oh.
Money, 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 money.
Here, he's in the house. He's in the house. Big smile. Big spile. He is big style, Burdette. He's graced us with his presence with a $10 super. That's cool and all. That
Yeah, that's great.
That's cool and all. Chilean sea bass, but we all know Fahad.
Who?
If you don't like the video right now and subscribe to the channel, I might dunk on you.
That's Fahad. That's Feifei. We all know that Fahad did the hair grift also for Chatla first. This guy, he's showing his age there. He's showing the fact that he knows the show. So happy birthday, Luca, which was another kind of running gag on the show. Also, thanks to PD Pablo for the news.
Who's PD Pablo?
You don't know PD Pablo, bro? From the Southern rap and stuff like that. He's great, bro. Of course.
I don't have no idea.
Shout out to PP Pablo. I'm kidding, of course. Shout out the Yin Yang twins, man. Remember the old Dirty South rap, man? Come on, man. It was like mid-2000s.
Yeah, I'm all about the Yin Yang.
There you go, bro.
All right, Cheese in a Chair, $5 super chat. Joe, you should draw a picture of Fabian as revenge for what he just said. No, you don't want me to do that, man. It doesn't deserve that. It doesn't deserve me doing a little sketch here of Fabian.
He didn't absolutely have to invoke you as an example. It was kind of an option that he chose. So if you want to execute revenge, I think you'd be well within your rights.
You know what I often say, right, Sharif?
What?
I am kind.
I'm kind. I like it.
We'll save it.
Shout out to my man. All right, guys. FGI is on the way to 15, 1460, 1480. 2 new high a day. Here comes 15 on FGI. It is the #1 gapper in said market at the moment, up over 200%. But I'd say to you, what I said at 13 and what I said at 14, watch for an aggressive rejection. This one has a tendency to make it to that next dollar level and then right back down to the previous dollar. So you could do many things here. You could be quick with the keys, get out near that whole dollar, or you could bottom pick and you could be looking for that drop from 15 into 14, pick it up there. You're gonna have to give it room because it's not gonna hold exactly at 14 and then it rockets back up. We're gonna keep an eye out on that one. But I got BYSI and I'm about to get stopped out of this one. I do have the high of the day. I've got one out left, so I don't mind this going against me. But limit down is 12. We're at 13s. I end that. We'll lose 5 pennies per share on the last remaining amount, but it still remains profitable, 55%. We're looking for more. Shout out to my man Ozan. Fahad and Neil had some hot eating things once. Yes, we need to do that again. No, they will not do that again. What was it called? Pack chip or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you missed it, Sia, because it was like a couple of years before you got here. But Neil, Sean, and that guy that I showed you on the video there, that was Fahad. They did, I think, what is it called? The Packy Chip Challenge? Whatever it was called. It was brutal. And both of them swore up and down they never do it again. They were all suffering, but they did it for charity. So chapeau to them. Are we going up to the big desk?
Yeah, we're going over there.
Limit down, BYSI.
The IWM up 0.11% on the day. Let's take a look at 2 individual tickers picked for you for today's small cap segment. YETI, Yeti, as you famously know, trading around $44.4 at the moment. Reported earnings before the bell today. And net sales are up 9% year over year to $483.9 million. Adjusted gross margin is up 59.5%. Coolers and equipment have been the leading category growth in this company. And international sales mix has also reached 21%. So first year 26 guidance is calling for a 7 to 8% sales growth and a 19 to 21% EPS growth. So the ticker Yeti, however, is down over 12.5% on the day. ZBIO is something else I want to take a look at. Zenas Biopharma has also reported before the bell as of today, showing revenue of $1 million and a net loss of $111.46 million, trading around $28.8 right now. That is down also over 7.5% on the day.
Thank you very much for that. See, I mean, Sharif's been crushing these small caps here bright and early this morning. We'll go over to our scan and see what else is potentially moving here on the day. Now, as he was mentioning before, there's a lot of these leverage plays, starting to pop up here, right? $12 to $14 here, even more. Sorry, zoom out a little bit and condense some of this price action and get some more detail. Remove some of this noise here and see what we have. $10 all the way up there. That's almost 50% on SNXX. That's insane, right? That's a big time return, especially if you've been getting involved with some of these SanDisk plays. IVDA, I don't believe you've been trading that one. Was he? And he's not in anything right now. FGI halted to the top side. So a really nice move here. High of the day break. This is something that you guys know I would be specifically looking for at this $9.32 marker. 16.26. This is some big time stuff over here, ladies and gentlemen. More than a double on today's session, up 100+%. So that's pretty good look. GXAI not doing anything. And Sharif and I, when I first started really getting more involved with some of these small cap plays, and I believe you can confirm this, is that what happens is once they're south of VWAP, we tend to say above VWAP buyers are in control, below sellers are in control. And I think that's more the narrative here with some of these small cap names. Once they're below the volume weighted average price and been hanging around there for quite some time, then I just don't believe they're in play unless you're Luis Barbado, who's looking to short some of these names. Yeah, your name's halted up there, brother.
Bro,
I was just going over.
No.
Halted down.
But FGI, Joey.
Oh, yeah, that's
see what that did?
Yeah, FGI. Oh, it just opened up at 16.22.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it went crazy.
Is it limit up?
No, it didn't. I don't think it did. It was just paused. The momentum really pulled down. But here's BYSE, halted to the downside, guys. So be cautious of that one. Is this a Nasdaq name? If that's the case, what I can do is I can pull up the top for you guys. Man, see, this is what happens, man. This is why you got to be a little bit more patient, especially when you're pushing size. And you're just like giving yourself extremely tight stops. You have to be highly, highly accurate. Now, listen, I'm not upset or anything along those lines. We took the swing, but hey, just on the back side of this here, we would have been absolutely prime time. I should have posted out. If I posted out instead of punched out, I would still have the ability to take another shot here, but that just wasn't the case. But going up to 36.77, NVDA is starting to find its road to recovery. But I do want to pull up, before I send it back to you, Vin, we'll let you do your thing over there as well, too, so I don't mind rambling on for a little while, aka Led Zeppelin. But yeah, halted to the downside. Tap is $1. Okay, so we're almost 10% lower from where we currently were here on BYSI. So be patient, be cautious with this one, especially when you have the momentum start to really cook up to the southeast. Now, moving forward, the Nasdaq and the SPY finding some form of recovery as well, too. So a nice move here earlier in the day. This was so fast. And what I was thinking is like, okay, even though we took multiple attempts on it, we should have got out significantly earlier on this one attempt. We did have 2 nice scalps to the downside, but when you're just not, like I took half off right here and then boom, I thought I was out a little bit more, to be honest with you, 76.20, and then sure enough, I was like, oh no, what's going on here? And then we got all out here, but just a little bit too far against me on that one. But attempt number 2, get out when we're supposed to on attempt number 3, and attempt number 4 worked for us, but we just ended up taking profit too soon and didn't reload on the pullback there.
It's ripping here. FGI, we just got in at 16, out 16.88. There it goes, 16, 17, 17.29 limit up. Here comes $20. FGI is feeling like the small caps that we saw last week. Honestly, not the hot garbage that got me into a lot of trouble this week. But hey, we'll deal with this one as we'll deal with them as they come. Is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I was thinking maybe a drop back down into 15. That didn't even happen. It didn't even come close. So the prior candle here on the 5 is just very strong. So is the current one. The current area low is right around 16. Exact level though is 15.82. So that's a current candle low. Prior bar low is almost unusable. It's $14. That's about $2.50 removed from the current price action. So let's see if we can clear 17. I don't know if it's a straight beeline into 20, but my spidey sense and my bias, just honestly, is yelling 20 here. So let's see how this ends up going. Limit down and just flashed as we drop down into 16. Now, it is turning into a topping tail candle, so you need to worry about the loss of the current bar low, which is why I gave it to you, 15.82. So keep that in mind. You don't want this candle to go green into kind of a topping tail candle that's green into a hammer candle or an inverse hammer candle that's red. That's not exactly what we're looking for here. 16.65 the current price, 17.25 high Zion. Bovin, FGI had good news in earnings. It's on super fire. FGI, yeah. You know what? Honestly, Zion, I know that I should be looking at that. But with these small caps, I just feel it's so much less important. And it's just more, momentum price action based, which is why I don't really waste a lot of my time looking at the news headlines. I know some other small cap traders do care about that because they look at the headline as potentially giving it longevity for the move, right? So if it's a real headline, we could get a much bigger squeeze than if it's just sort of fugazi, where, the momentum can only take it so far. So I do see the relevance of that, and I know some small cap traders are very specific on that, and I get that. I respect that. It's just when you're doing the show and you're trying to catch these moving quick, it's just harder to go through the headlines, make an assessment as to, you know, whether or not it's fugazi. It's something that can, you know, keep the momentum going. But I completely get that. Thank you for pointing it out. I see you, Tish. I hadn't seen you earlier in the chat. Love to see you here, Tish. FGI is him right now. It's up 255%. Tish, it's got like a couple of red candles in the last hour here on the 5-minute chart. So needless to say, it's awfully strong, but there isn't much else. That's the problem. It could be the problem. It could be why maybe this is moving so much is that, you know, all the small cap traders, the degens, myself included, they're all looking at this one and they're all piling in. But we know when the longs pile in, the shorts are waiting on the sideline to take it back down. So you've got to be ready for that. You don't know when it's going to turn. Most of the time, I'd say a great majority of the time, if we believe the data that Luis Barbato gave us, and I happen to believe it, most of these will close red. That's the thing. Now, I'm not saying this is going to go green or red, but at least it will give back some. So you got to be ready for that, John.
All right, headline here, Saskatoon Premier Scott Moe announced, Saskatoon.
Yeah, it's Saskatoon's a city. It's fine. Yeah, we got you.
Sorry, Adara. I didn't mean to do that. Saskatchewan.
Well, she's from the prairies, brother. You better get it right.
I better get that right, man. I got to know the own cities and provinces in my own country, first and foremost. Premier Scott Moe announces the discussion between Canada and the U.S. have heated up recently as the August 19th tariff deadline.
I love how he's actually talking because your friend Dominic LeBlanc, who's leading the discussions, has been as tight-lipped as they get.
Yeah.
He's not giving them nothing. Now, the reason the premiers are chiming in on this because one of the deals, one of the parts of the deal is the booze ban. And the booze ban entirely
back on the table, though.
Well, it is, and that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right? The booze ban is entirely controlled by the premiers. The Fed can only kind of try to persuade the premiers, which are Canadian governors, for our American viewers, to put the American booze back on the shelf. But it's their call at the end of the day. That's why he's leaking this.
That's why he's leaking it.
Shout out to Scott. Well, I happen to like him, brother. Now, he did strike a deal with China, so, you know, he's a little bit here and there. See, the Chinese were kind of smart. They played the provinces against each other. They slapped Saskatchewan with that fertilizer ban because of the Ontario thing. They were trying to pin Saskatchewan and Ontario against each other because they hit one province, the exports of one province, and then, you know, to the detriment of the other. So Saskatchewan got hit for the fertilizer ban, and the reason Ontario liked the EV ban that we had here, essentially with 100% tariffs, because they want to protect the auto manufacturing in Ontario. Well, the protectionism hurts another province. You see what I'm saying? So the Chinese know that.
Yeah.
And then they were trying to play them against each other, and the Americans, to an extent, are trying to do that as well.
Didn't they sign a big canola?
Was it canola or was it potash? I forget what it was, bro.
It was something along those lines, but yeah, I mean, hey, see if these negotiations can get done. Shreve, you made a valid point before on the American alcohol ban. They should have just sold it all first before storing it and just not bought any more back.
Huh? I have no problem
spending X amount of money to actually store it. So
I'm not a crazy conspiracy theory at all, man. This is just like negotiation tactics 101. If you don't have leverage in negotiations, you know you're just gonna get slapped by the other party, brother. You got to be able to pin people against each other so that you get what you want. I'm not talking conspiracy here. This is just basics, brother. So
yeah, I don't see any conspiracy in that. Yeah.
All LGCL moving. Let's have a look at that one, Joey.
Pull it up.
Let's have a look. Let's flip to the 5 on this one. LGCL. Oops. My bad. LGCL? Yeah, there it is. Oh, okay. Light fall, though, man. 1.3 million shares on a $1.67 name. It's not bad. It had a big move yesterday in the aftermarket. It looks like it might be an earnings play. Big breakout there, 405 on volume, but flat top break, I see that. Certainly there was a 165, 166 seller, but it's only at 168. So I think that might be a little bit of a tough one there. Just relax, Gubutez, or whatever your name is. I'm not going to ban you, but yeah, I just want to point out, I don't think that that's conspiracy theory worthy there, man. Conspiracy theory worthy, we'd be talking some more stuff. But I think it's just basic negotiation strategies, man. And obviously to the detriment of Canada, the Chinese using that strategy, of course, but can't expect them to want to benefit Canada without getting anything in return.
Yeah.
So I'm continuing to watch FGI here. It's having a lot of trouble clearing 17, even though 17.25 is the high of the day. There's a general seller here at the $17 level. It's a bit of a range now for the last, I want to say, almost 10 minutes. 16 support, 17 resistance. How this cookie crumbles, you'll have to wait and see. But you know, when you get this close to 20, you start thinking 20, right? Like, so.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the next targets there. So we'll keep an eye out on that bad boy. Yeah, listen, we're below volume weighted average price here on BYSI. Now we'll head over to our actual other scan here and see what we got going on. I know Shrew's always looking at these names, LGCI, million, but big time liquidity issues here, RRGB. Same thing, but starting to form somewhat of a bull flag, I should say. Now, LNSR not doing too much. See, liquidity is so important. So some of these names need much more than a million shares traded. Here's SNDU. These leverage plays are absolutely going parabolic here today. So really good stuff. We'll head over to our large cap scan and see who's been leading the way. We went over those. SMCI putting in another session here. Where's Is Noodles? I know he is a big fan of this one. Been holding on to some of this here. So in a continuation on earnings day 2, I believe it is here on this name specifically, up to $42. So SMCI putting in some work over the past couple of sessions. SoFi can't seem to get out of its own way at this point. I'm not in love with this name. Nimrod and I were talking about it. I'm like, you know what, man? I just don't know. Because it's kind of correlated with the Robinhood stuff, like even though it's a bank, but they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So it's a little bit of a messier play here in regards to SoFi. Netflix, it is what it is, and then the Nasdaq and Apple selling off a little bit here. Well, I do want to talk a little bit about Apple.
Get it, Joey.
Because I do believe we're going to crack $300. With that being said, we can take a look at the options chain to see if there's any large amounts of supply on a couple of weeks out expiration cycle.
Tell me where you see support on the options change. Is there anything at
Yeah, well, that's what I'm like, 295. There's some 300. I figured there'd be some, but we'll go a little bit further out to see if there's any larger size. Yeah, 300 has the most amount, so I wouldn't be surprised if you have something relatively close. I mean, you're only $3 off of it at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if you do get a little bit below it, but then immediately bounce right back here in AAPO.
Unreal price action here, guys. We got in at 17.25, out at 18.5, and there goes 19. Limit up 19.08. This one hasn't halted, so the limit up was 1880 something, and then the timer on the halt perimeter reset, it just rocketed up. There were so many buy orders. Here it is in another halt perimeter, and it false halts again. I'm telling you, this one hasn't halted. I saw one maybe halt earlier on, 10:05. There it goes again as the halt perimeter resets, 1932 limit up. It was 1908. Told y'all we'd probably see 20, man. That's just the way these ones work. Or you do this for a long time, you kind of just get the hang of it. 1932, limit up. Keeps going into the halt parameter, keeps coming out of it, I'm assuming because a lot of people are taking profits. I can't imagine for the life of me shorts aggressively entering at this level. 1967 limit up now. Here comes 20. It feels like we're going to see 20 sooner rather than later. Enters the halt parameter, out of the halt parameter again. Bovin, are you in this or what, man? What is going on here? Tisha, are you holding? This is just a rocket ship. We've been involved in this one from the get-go. From essentially 10.75 onwards, we've been adding and removing, again entering the halt parameter and again coming out. Bovin's not in it. Get it, Tisha. Bovin, this is right down your alley, bro. 1993 limit up now. Look at it. This is trading in the exact way Plague didn't trade on Monday, where Plague was luring you into the down halt, limit down, and then would pop up into an up halt. And now, finally, we are halted on FGI, 1993, halt time, 12:38 on the dot. The tap, oh baby, I just saw 2031 dropping back down now into 20. Tisha, I don't hold halts since last week. Yeah, man. Well, I held halts this week, Tisha, and it did not serve me well at all. Last week, I think it would have served me well to hold into the halts, but kind of hard to know from week to week. You know what I find specifically hard for myself, and I need to improve on this, is when I get into a rhythm with these small caps like we had last week, where you trade them a certain way, and that particular way ends up paying dividends, it's really hard for me to kind of just shut that off and say, okay, no, this week is different. We got to take it an entirely different way. And so that transition historically for me has been a little bit hard. I can't do it in a day. I'd like to believe I can do it in 2. I couldn't do it in 3 because I'm 0 for 3 this week. Hopefully today we'll go 1 for 4. We were 5 for 5 last week, so it was a little frustrating to kind of not be able to exercise kind of the same strategy. But anyway, see, it's showing a full dollar lower at times. Yeah, you're not wrong, Tish. 19.10 now, the top 19.20. Let's see how this ends up going, right? But you're absolutely right. Last week, though, I didn't feel like we were getting a lot of the bamboozlement in the halt. You know, when they were halting up, for the most part, the trend was to the high side. It would turn, and then we would start getting lower highs and lower lows on the down halts. But that is it. I see what you're saying, Tish, though. Yeah, I feel you. They were opening lower each time, she says. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. LIMN is moving apparently. Let me have a look. Did I put that on here? I think I felt like I put it on. We're going to take off bullish, LIMN. Ah, yes, the range trade. All right, well, I haven't changed my opinion on this. It's still a range. And in fact, it looks more of a range than when it did last time. It's just proving my point. Look for 19 pennies on this. If you're in right now and you're at 17, you should be looking for 19 here, right? And that 1840 break doesn't get you a trend change. It just continues on, right? Because you're getting these topping tail candles and then you're dropping back down. So even if you're a short seller, you can trade this. Even if it's going higher, you're getting in at the top end of the range. You know, give it a couple of shekels in terms of room. But I see how you guys are looking at that LIMN. Not one that I'm interested in, quite frankly, but we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it on there. FGI limit up, Joey. It's,
Nice,
yeah, it's look at that, Joey. That's a top that says $18.
Oh, 18,
Tisha
and it halts at
frickin'
19.
Perkins called it.
Damn.
She called it, man. She's like, look, the top. Anyway, last week would come down substantially below the halt price. So it's 1993 halt price. We're showing 1838 halt time. 38, so the earliest open will be 43. It is 41 at 20, so we still have like another minute and a half.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, Micron Millionaire, listen, I like the point that you made here not too long ago, just the fact that $300 is probably going to hold up pretty well here on AAPL, just due to the $100 billion share buyback program. And that's the next step for Jensen. Sharif, that's what I'm going to be looking for in the near-term reports in the next couple of quarters. Like, is Jensen going to be spending any form of cash? I know he's going to the debt market now, it sounds like, at this point, but are these guys going to be buying back shares? We really need to tighten this float up so you can stop having so much push and pull within the name. I think that's going to be really important for the future trajectory of this company. And now, listen, you get 25-cent dividend with the name. He did increase it substantially from a penny to 25 cents. But I think I would rather shares be bought back. A lot of people saying Bitcoin is tanking. It better be.
That's what everyone's saying right now.
Yeah,
like,
okay, yeah.
Short?
So yeah, it's really selling off here. Bitcoin's just really starting to move to the downside. But in the bigger picture, right, 35.70, you open up at 35.88, going to continue to sell. I wouldn't be surprised, man. Like, we talked about this before. The buying strength just is not there. It's crazy how the crypto craze has just came to an abrupt halt. You were hot for so long.
There's got to be
last
something
year.
here.
No, I don't. But Sharif, in the bigger picture, it's really not that much, right? Like, there could be something. You're not wrong whatsoever. But in the grand scheme of things, like, look what we're sitting at from a daily. What are we down from a percentage standpoint at this point, Sharif?
Adara, are you seeing anything on Bitcoin? Yeah,
you figure it out.
Resumption here on FTX.
We're not even down 1%. We're down 0.8%.
It just dropped pretty aggressively, Joe.
No, I'm not saying you're right, but I'm saying, like, it just could be someone dumping something.
What do they call those wallets?
Someone.
Wallets.
Yeah, exactly, or somebody just offloading something here. The volume did uptick, so there could be.
She says,
there could be something, but it was.
My top source that I look at for news on crypto, she would be posting if there was anything. Eleanor Terrett, she has not posted.
What's her name?
Eleanor Terrett.
Eleanor Terrett.
She has not posted anything. And she's on. I follow her anyway, so it would have showed up.
Yeah, so maybe it could could be a technical thing. I mean, the other day when it was Sean and I before, it was you and I rocking and rolling. Meta was rolling, and we're like, hey, what's going on? Feels like a buy program. Couldn't find anything. So no specific story, just a technical breakup. Then eventually sold off. So let's see what happens here in Bitcoin. I don't know what's going to happen here with our boy Sailor. I mean, if this puts in a new low and cracks 30 bucks, this guy's going to be extremely out of the money. He's already started to sell Bitcoin to pay for dividends, I believe, which is definitely not a good sign.
No, it's definitely not. He's fallen out of favor a little bit lately, eh? Like you got a lot of guys.
It's really quiet.
On him
It's
too.
really quiet. It's really quiet on the crypto
His
front.
detractors take obviously the opportunity. Peter Schiff just been dunking on him on X, and he's got the right to. Well, he's right. He's been right, man.
He kind of set himself in a
Schiffy?
peculiar position because he all of his the way he was financing his Bitcoin purchases and stuff by selling debt initially with the preferreds and stuff, and then if it doesn't,
I know you were never a fan of that.
And then if it doesn't work out, then you're.
I know you were never a fan of that.
No,
yeah.
I didn't really like it.
Yeah, but that's his whole modus operandi.
That's his move, man.
That's his move.
Listen,
right?
it's like right now he may seem like one of the dumbest people in the room, but that narrative can change 6 to 8 months any time from now.
Bro, he was getting an audience with some of the biggest names in Wall Street who were just throwing money at him hand over fist on that whole leverage preferred share thing. Right, it's just so funny how cyclical this stuff is, right?
Yeah, man.
You're persona non grata one day, and then you're just like nobody can get enough of you, right?
Well, think about what happened here with some of the ETFs, like the GB, TCs, and the IBITs. Like those were the most successful ETF launches of all time. IBIT
still is,
the iShares,
still
of all time. And like if you're telling me that's what happens of all time to the greatest ETF launch, you're down 60% off your highs.
Let's see how much I'm out of the money on this piece of crap now, man. IBIT, a couple of bucks out of the money. It's not too bad, but I can handle that.
Would you buy more down here?
It has to give me a reason.
I
always say that to you, right? Like I have to see a trend change. I don't want to add into weakness. It's just a recipe to get rinsed. Right?
We're just kind of in a gray zone with the whole space right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well said. I just can't wait to buy more BMNR, though.
Well, that's the thing. Would you buy?
It gives me a reason. Yeah.
Would you buy more? Okay, you would buy more BMNR
if the trend changes.
Would you buy more IBIT or more MSTR? Or would you go MSTR instead?
I've never bought MSTR. I don't want that kind of exposure.
Oh, okay.
Remember what it did, dude. Like MSTR, it doesn't run in correlation with crypto. When we hit on 26,000, MSTR was not at all-time highs. MSTR made all-time highs before we hit 126,000.
It did.
Right? So it's like, if you want a pure play, that's not a pure play. That's just a leverage play. And it doesn't even
correlate. With no specific leverage ratio.
It's not for me.
There's no ratio. It's not like it's a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 leverage play.
Bless you, Ram.
It's just out in the air. Like if it moves higher, then it just, some days it can be a 2-to-1, 3-to-1.
No, you're right. Ozan, in 15, the match starts, so I'll leave you guys. Okay. Besiktas is playing for anybody who wants to watch the Turkish Super League. Thank you for updating us, of course, Ozan, on your whereabouts at all times. Random Scenes, 22, Joe, Sharif. If you guys have a sec, you give me a long thought on Uber. Absolutely, brother. Let's bring it in. All right, where is Uber? Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. I thought we were going to take out that 100, but we're right back into that established range. I want to say generally you're going to see 80 to 85 resistance. This is a multi-year trend now. And then for the most part, it's 65. So I have this at 65. I've neither added nor removed from, and I have 65 from like last year. So I dealt with that whole 100 and the drawdown right back in. I just think it's caught right back into that sideways range, whether or not it made that 100 move. Now, keep in mind that 100 move, I'll submit to you, a lot of that was predicated upon automation, right? Uber kind of started changing its mode a little bit. It wanted to be sort of that marketplace for autonomous vehicles. And then when we saw some of the actual autonomous providers, your Waymos and others, step back from their partnership, we've seen that with Google, with Waymo and Uber, where they're stepping back from their relationship. I think going into next year, Atlanta, and I think another market as well. Then we started getting the sell-off because the thesis, in my opinion, changed from, they're going to be housing the marketplace for autonomous vehicles into, well, the autonomous vehicles are just going to do it themselves and cut out Uber. Well, why was this so important to Uber? Well, let's just ask yourself, what's one of their highest fixed costs, right? Drivers. I hate to put it that way because, a lot of people rely on that money. But from a company's perspective, the drivers are costing them an arm and a leg. If they could get rid of the drivers, go autonomous, just think about, what kind of margin increase you could have there. So I do like Uber. I want to see more on how they're going to deal with sort of the market post-autonomy marketplace narrative and whether or not they can kind of champion it themselves. But very, very consultative.
Do you think the Teslas and the Waymos need Uber?
They don't, brother. Think about the Tesla app.
That's what I'm getting at.
If I want a Robotaxi, why don't I just download the Tesla app, right?
Why would Tesla pay
Waymo
Uber a piece of the pie?
I was thinking the reason was because Uber already had all the accounts there.
Yeah, no,
right?
I'm agreeing. Yeah, I'm just.
So you don't have to create a new account. But I don't mind creating a new account. Well, kind of, it's so easy.
If it's going to be like 20, 30% cheaper, why would you give up any form of revenue to Uber? So it's funny how things work sometimes, which is not good. Uber steps into the city and just eliminates the taxi business pretty much, and then now you have autonomy.
Yeah, and most of those guys that were driving taxis now are driving Ubers.
Yeah. Well, you had no choice. You don't have a choice.
Well, my man, you were paying the owner of the plate a hefty sum. Do you know those plates
taxis.
got? Yeah, I don't know what they got to in Toronto, but they were like $500,000 a plate. People were taking out mortgages if they wanted to own their own plate, or you'd have to rent it from somebody who got a cut of your daily every day, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Uber gets a cut of your.
Uber takes way more.
Takes more.
But you don't have to throw any money ahead.
Initially,
right? Exactly.
There's no data.
Uber is back in the house.
Uber is
She's back in the house.
Uber is ISIS.
Uber what?
No, remember that? No, remember that video?
Call them ISIS.
Yeah, but remember the video of the guy in Toronto just down the street?
Oh yeah. That guy. He held onto the door.
Yeah. Well,
why would he do that?
Uber.
KC 526 is in the house.
She's back.
She's already making calls here on FGI. Look at this case. We were doing this live when you were gone, girl. We're taking this bad boy. We took it almost into the high of the day. We got out some 18.5s there. It did make its way up to 1993, but it looks like it's bleeding its own blood case. Its limit down right now, 1664. Tap showing 16. We're right at the 10 EMA on the 5, which is about 1640. I don't see another support level until about 15. Below 15, I'm seeing about 12. So take your pick there. I'm not touching this one for now. We're gonna see what other options we have for a trade. And while we think about that, C is going to tell you about the different sectors.
The SPY currently up very close to a little bit over 0.5%. Let's take a look at these sectors here. Electric tech, you have NVIDIA and Broadcom that are in the green, with MU showing significant strength of 6.4%, Intel up almost 4%, AMD is up 2%, Apple trading flat, and Cisco, on the other hand, that reported that we will discuss further in the news segment, down 9%. You have tech services, Google trading close to up 1%, Meta is up close to 2%, Oracle and Microsoft, as well as CRWD, remain flat on the day, Netflix up 4% on the day. Finance, you have BRKB, JPM, and BAC, AXP, WFC, all down towards the red on the day. Visa and MasterCard, however, are trading flat, but you have Robinhood showing a little bit of a strength here that's up close to 4% on the day. Retail trade, you have Amazon, Costco, TJX flat as of today. As of right now, Walmart down close to 8% and Home Depot down 0.5%. Health tech, Lilly and J&J flat on as of now. ABBV, MRK, Amgen, AMGN are in the green. However, one more name in this sector, PFE, Pfizer, that is up 2.15%. Producer manufacturing, LRCX showing relative strength, bullish on the day, up 4.6%. AMAT up 1%. CAT flat. CAT is flat. And GEV is up almost 1% on the day. Energy minerals, you have XOM, that is a little bit towards the downside. CVX does not seem like it's carrying around as much today. It's flat. And Consumer durables, you have Tesla that's up 2.6%. And just another name I want to check. Yesterday, this entire sector was a little bit lagging down. GM and F are now flat on the day as of right now. Utilities, process industries, health services, where UNH seems like it's dragging down a little bit, down 1%. Industrial sectors as well as commercial, all a mixed bag and a mixed sentiment of stocks over here. Nothing too crazy going on. But consumer durables, you have PM that's up close to 2%, KO that's up 1%, PG that is flat on the day. And finally, I just want to check in transportation. FedEx that is up 1.8%, Dash that's up 1.5%, and Uber that is flat. And Sharif just gave you the outlook on it too. Sending it back.
All right.
Thank you so much
yeah,
for that.
thank you very much. Well, I heard. Oh, you don't got anything going on right now. It looks like we're moving
FGI is open though.
Yeah, the south side. It looks like there. Shout out to Lloyd and them. I'm sure Sharif was a big
Lloyd Banks.
No, the other just Lloyd. Or no, it might have been Floyd. Anyways, that is irrelevant. Man, Sanders continuing to move higher here, ladies and gentlemen, now up 14%. Not putting in a new high of the day just yet, but Bitcoin's starting to find some form of a recovery, right? So you just had, that's CRM. Bitcoin was down 0.8, now it's starting to find its bounce. Gaurav, you might like this one, brother. This is a nice little bounce, so if this level holds, what we will do is pull up our options chain to see if there is any support systems via IBIT. Man, what a cool off. Like, I was trading this thing left, right, and center. Neil definitely takes the crown now in regards to trading Bitcoin. Yeah, he's involved with it.
He's involved.
Quite often. Katina Man is back in the building.
Back in the building, baby. He's got the Palantir hat on, too,
the
man.
Palantir hat, it's fresh from the gym. Nice work, my guy.
Can we see the food pellet?
44.9 thousand.
Yo, that looks good, man. I'm not going to lie. That looks really good. That's a lot of protein. And we're having carbohydrates now, Katina, man.
You are?
Yeah, Claude told me I should. So if Claude says it, then it's all over. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's all right. Oh, I heard that. I heard that.
What?
That's crazy.
She snorted?
No.
She's done that before.
35. Oh, hold on.
Let's not tease her. Bro.
No, we're not gonna tease her.
Oh, she's gonna come in and she's gonna yell at us.
I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna catch the fail or the double thumbs down here. $35, 44,000.9. If you want to chime in, you can chime in. See anything about it, anything. 44,900 contracts at that support level. We're going to look for this to hold up. So you can see that we did run right into this supply zone and bounced right off of it here on IBIT. Where was it? 35.54. So not quite just yet.
What's going on there, Katina Man?
Easy.
The Katina Man is
on what? On CoreWeave?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We're on CoreWeave. You caught that high, 17 all the way to there you go. Katina Man going to be $9 relatively soon.
And that's his T-triple-Qs right there.
There's the TQs move on that bad boy. So
aggressively shorting that into the highs there.
We'll hit the stone cold for our boy too, and we'll hit the on that one there.
Joey, can I cover something super quick for everybody?
Do one with the double tap that again there, Katina Man.
Get it, Katina Man. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's such a good one. DFSC. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to TT Mass. They called this one out. I didn't have eyes on DFSC, but now I do, and it is above VWAP. It's trying to stay above VWAP. You know, this one, I probably didn't even give it another glance because it halted down, stayed below VWAP, but the buyers are coming back. It's a 357 high. It really hasn't spent much time at all. Above 3, look at that. You know, it did limit up into about 357, then bled its own blood all the way down into 257. So it's hard for me to read this chart. So I'm just going to have to stick with that 3 area of resistance and support. Let me flip to the 15, see if I can get a better gander here. 270 could be interesting, as well as 310. Look at the closing and the opening print on this candle at 310, but this is a hard chart to read. So I don't really know how this is going to trade. You might have to just punch and pray here or give it to prior bar low, something tight. Keep it tight on this one. DFSC, the ticker, it's up 114%. It's done ample volume, 81.5 million shares on the day. So it looks pretty good, but how you trade this one might be a little bit tricky. Let's put it up on a trading screen here. Take out BYSI, put on DFSC. On the NQ, I'm assuming. Yeah, there we go. 1 penny spread. Continuing to watch. Current bar high on the 5, of course, is 272. We're showing 261. So Let's see if 250 holds up here. 2.5. We need that 2.5 to hold. Psychological area of support and resistance also overlapping with the volume weighted average price. That to me makes it more important as a level of support. If it fails there, I'm not interested unless it can get back above, right? So we'll continue to watch here. DFSC, shout out to the chat, man, calling it out. Looking good here.
Man, shut him out. Yeah, good stuff over there, my guys. Just watching our boy Connor Ben. I think the path to victory for Connor is not to hit him with power.
I got to tell you.
Is Ryan, you've seen Ryan, he's been training?
I'm not liking what Ryan's doing.
Yeah, he's not even training, man.
His birthday was on the 11th. I get that. You got to celebrate your birthday and everything like that, right? But
a month before your fight?
Thank you. Keep it low key. Ryan, man, you went through this already, brother. You screwed up. You had a year of screw up. You came back. You look good. Don't fall into the same stupidity. And Ben is taking this seriously,
Hey,
man.
he wants that belt. He wants that belt.
I don't like what Ryan's doing,
Yeah,
Joey.
he might lose, but again, the skill might come into play. I don't think the path to victory for Ben is to try to overwhelm him with power, but to break him down and just touch, boom, here and there. What was I about to pull up here? I don't know why I keep pulling this up. But anyways, aside from that, guys, let's head back over to our options chain and our watch list to see what we got going on. 225 once again here. That level that we were talking about not too long ago on NVDA via the options chain. But Apple, we've got that 300 base established. We've seen that we have that $35 base established on Bitcoin as well too via IBIT. Now for the names that are just going on absolutely monstrous runs right now, which would be the memory names, we're going to pull up SanDisk, Western Digital, and a couple more of them. So SNDK, let's see what we got going on in the derivatives market. If there's anything outstanding that says, hey, even though it's more expensive, you do see a little bit of size with these 1500s. Those are in the water right now, so those are deep in the money at this point. But again, from a size standpoint, $1,600 could most definitely be in the works here for SNDK. I see you got something on there if you want to. Oh, no, you just got orders posted up? Okay.
No, I just came in.
Okay.
I came in here.
Okay.
So here's what I see on the 5-second chart for DFSC. If it loses 254, I'm out. Yeah, 1 second. This is an area low. So if this area here where we got buyers a bunch of times at 55, if that loses trend, that means it's a newer low. I'm out. I'm looking for this area to hold. So if it doesn't hold, we're out. But we're looking for about $3 on this one. Let's see how this one ends up doing. And while we wait for that, I'm going to send you up to Adair.
Mild pop in CBRS here. Apparently, they are expanding their partnership with OpenAI. Cerebras will be powering ultra-fast, which is, I guess, an OpenAI initiative, delivering up to 750 output tokens per second for GPT 5.6 Sol. Again, as part of that expanded partnership, this is also Cerebras earnings day one. We had CEO Andrew Feldman on CNBC earlier today. Back to you.
We're at 70. Big seller here at 70 on DFSC. There was a lot of shares that just changed hands there at 70 pennies. We're moving up again, 69, 70, 72. There's a first fill. 74, new high a day. Oh, not new high a day. New local area high. Pardon me, guys. I'm waiting for 77s next. 74 seller here. No continuation. Sorry, Assassino. Let's go back to Adair. She's got more news.
Yeah, sorry, guys, this came out right after the last time, so I have to talk about this as well. Google just spiked higher before giving it back. They're announcing their Gemini 3.7 Flash via a blog post. Apparently, this is, I guess, their top model is still delayed, so I think that's kind of being what the issue is. They got the Gemini Flash, still delayed at that top model. This is Gemini 3.7 Flash, available through the end of the year at an introductory price of 75 cents per 1 million input tokens and $3.75 for 1 million output tokens. So 75 cents for million input, 3.75 for output. If I get any more details here, I will keep you posted. I'm also still hearing more about that OpenAI model as well. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. New area high here, which is 76.
Thank you very much.
We're waiting. Get it, Donald.
Oh, that's
where is he at?
Data break.
We're waiting now for 77. So I did have my next profit taker 1 penny above the area high. I don't know how this cookie crumbles, guys. It could turn on me here, but if it turns on me, I'm out below 55. So we're not giving it much in the way of room. I'm not liking how this is turning into a doji candle on the 5 and a topping tail candle on the 1. Always multi-time frame confirmation, multi-time frame analysis as it drops back in. So look, let's see how this ends up going. I don't want to defend into 50. I just won't. So if it wants to come into 50, hold up, I'll get back in, but I won't defend into 50. So I'll stop out below 54s. And there it is, Mr. Options, 77 prints. DFSC, Bovin, Where's Bovin at? 82, Bovin. Here we go. Now it's picking up. We're going to wait in the 90s now. Let's go ahead. We're going to wait at 95. Let's see what happens here with DFSC. We got about 20 pennies in the money here, a bit of a buffer, but that could all be false confidence as this one turns around pretty quickly. Right back down into the mid-70s we go. It does have many higher prints from the pre-market. That always makes me a little concerned, as we know there could be bag holders that want to get out at some key levels here. So let's see how this ends up going. Andre, that POS INHD try to make a comeback. I love how you hate the tickers with vehemence like I do, bro. Let's look at INHD super quick over here because I have to keep my eye on this trade. Yeah, you know what, man? It is, but it's just super light on vol. What is this? Why is it like that, man? Why does it trade like that? It's super light volume. It's done 317,000 shares on the day. That's too light for my blood, man. I see it, but I just don't want to jump in. Get it, Case. She's involved in DFSC. So we're going to need you to punch in multiple thousands of shares here, Case. No team trading at all. Don't worry about that.
Whoa, yeah. Whoa. Don't
What's
do that.
going
Don't
on
talk
over there,
about that
Katina,
there,
man?
Katina, man.
He's coming in with
He likes the shares. How's the lunch, Katina, man? Pretty good.
winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner. Okay, what was we even talking about here? There's something that I would kind of touch my mind as I read it up on applied materials. Now, Terex, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but yeah, congratulations to you, man, and nice work. I love hearing it when you guys are making cash.
Cash money.
It happens. Some days you make it, some days you don't.
Watch out.
The majority of the days that you do want to, then for sure, let's head over to our stock scanner.
I'm going to hit that.
And see if anything SMCI. Are you going to hit that SMCI over here, Sharif? I don't know.
I've ever bought
SMCI. Yeah, here it is, but a nice day. 12% to the top side almost from those lows. Not too bad of a look there. SpaceX, listen, pull back. I'm really starting to love this name. I'm glad that the run that it's been on has been really good. But again, you go from $100 all the way up to 148. That's like 40% just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah, pretty quick. So you're not going to go parabolic all the time. You do want to see some breaths in between, but this is still an inside day. So that's displaying strength here in the longer term with SpaceX. But we also talked about via the options chain, which we'll pull up momentarily, is that $150 marker, which I believe I was talking about this morning as well too, acting as some form of resistance. We rejected yesterday with a high of around $149.87. So you have a little bit of downward pressure there in SpaceX. Let's pull up the bad boy on this options chain. It's funny, I was talking with multiple traders in Jose, and I was reading some things as well too. Just being able to just identify what's going on in the derivatives market is so important from your day-to-day trading. And if you're still early in your journey, just read and watch YouTube videos on what's going on, because identifying where there's large amounts of gamma exposure and where the larger participants are actually placing their bets without having the book map or a heat map or anything along those lines, for those who are familiar with book map, is really important. Okay, so 14,000.
You ever use that?
Book map?
Yeah.
No need. I have options chain.
That's a good point. There used to be a trader on the floor called Cal.
He used Bookmap?
Yeah, he was using it.
It's a great
all the
tool.
time.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
It truly is a great tool. It's just a heat map of where all the orders are actually placed. $150. You can see that this is
really expensive, though.
It is very expensive. Very expensive.
And there's so many tiers to the data, too. They really rinse you.
They do. And it's not the easiest to set up. There's actually a cheaper alternative. For those who know. I won't shed too much light on it, but it's the exact same thing pretty much, just a little bit cheaper, different of a version. It's called Market Atlas. Okay, Market Atlas. $150 there, guys. You can see we have 23,500 contracts with 30,000 open and closed on today's session. It's like it's almost dwarfing everything else that we're seeing throughout this expiration cycle. But what really makes me curious is what we're gonna have on the rollover. Okay, well that wasn't very fun now, was it? What happened here now, Sharif?
Well, it's your good friends at IB who never ever have a problem with data. None. Yeah. It's more like this.
Ooh.
Bro, like, you know how long it takes me to log in the morning, bro? I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what you got. I don't know why that happens. But other than that, man, we'll keep an eye out on this $150 marker on AAPL. Is Microsoft still going up another 0.5%? You're getting that slight pullback. But listen, we were talking about Amazon this morning as well, too. You go, yeah, okay, that was all fun, all-time high, 26%. That's why you don't chase all the way up here, right? Or if you are looking to grab some, you just grab it slowly. One thing that I can note that is positive for what's going on right now is that the volume is really starting to cool off. But you have to understand there's a pretty big gap here that has the potential to be filled. There is also a support system that was prior resistance. Let's see if that comes into play. But that brings you down all the way to $255 on Amazon. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this one. Microsoft, big time move. Something that was in a consistent downtrend for a significant period of time just evaporates the majority of its losses. So it was dead money for almost 2 years. We're talking about here in Microsoft. But then it's like, okay, if you've been slowly buying it, like this name has been really, really dead since 2024, January of 2024, Shri. We were just moving sideways till February 25. Then you lick grab lower.
Grab?
Yeah, liquidity grab there for sure, for actual terminology. And then sure enough, off to the races you go. And think about it, for those who have been with us for quite some time, what did I say about this run? I mean, it is not sustainable. And then sure enough, look what happens from the peak of August 2025. You're in a downtrend for pretty much a year until you report in almost in the latter half of August, the very end of it to be exact, and then you finally rip. So you did have a bunch of time to accumulate some shares. I would never count these guys out. Copilot gaining 10 million active users, paid users, I should say, on the quarter. That's pretty good. And hey, listen, I know it's not the most popular feature, but as you have mass adoption in the day-to-day average person, whoever's on Microsoft Edge,
are you using that?
No, I don't use Edge anymore. Yeah, I got too much heat. And remember, it was just freezing my computer. So
yes, I know.
So a Windows PC couldn't use Microsoft Edge.
Can I cover one quick?
Wait, you don't gotta ask me.
Sam, ma'am, first comment. Big fan of the show. Thank you, Sam. He called out Joey, PSQH. So I do like how you called this one out because this is one of those ones where we almost gave back the entire move, right? Like the breakout. I think the closing print is from the breakout because it didn't really do much in the way of volume in the pre. So 358 breakout area. Look how close we got. We got down to 390 after making a beeline to 571. But this feels like short covering. And the reason I say that is because it's on super light volume. Look at the move right back up, right? You know, shorts are probably, well, we know where the concentration of volume is. It's at the 1025 bar, which is this bar here. So the shorts could be short from 571 essentially to about 469. So you got to cover sometime. Lo and behold, look where we're rejecting. 470, 474 to be fair. So this move here, you can ride, right, as a long, you can ride the short covering with the shorts. There's nothing preventing you from doing that. They got to buy, right, to cover. So you can just buy with them and kind of move back up. But you got to be alive to the fact that they're going to cover until a certain point, right? And you can make an educated guess as to where they're going to cover to based upon the volume. And this chart here kind of narrows it down for us because there's one volume bar that stands above all the rest. And that's a 1025 volume bar on the 5, right? So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at there. This, for me, is not my cup of tea, right? I see the validity of the trade entirely, but it's just not something that I execute on. So PSQH, it was great while it lasted. It ended up failing as a long, but the shorts had to cover sometime, and you could have ridden that back with them. So thank you for pointing that one out so I could kind of make the point there with respect to that. And thank you for hanging out with us, man. And I'm happy that you like the show. NFX, 8980. Joe, Sharif, how do you think Europe moving away from Microsoft and Windows is going to affect the stock long term? Curious on what you think. I absolutely love that question. I've been talking a lot more about this. Data sovereignty, not just data sovereignty, but, you know, software sovereignty. In an age where old alliances are being tested more and more, countries now want to have a lot more self-determination with their data, with everything, right? With the software applications, with their laws, of course. And so you're seeing a lot more of this. And it's not just Microsoft that needs to worry. It's AWS, it's everybody who is an American company but provides services that are pseudo-sensitive, let's go with that, to Europeans, to, you know, Middle East, Asia, wherever. You're going to see a lot of this. I gave a very, I think, good example last week with Canada. Canada has obviously a huge border in the Arctic. We're very worried about the Chinese and the Russians coming through there and all sorts of issues with Arctic sovereignty. So what they've done is they want to make sure that the entire Arctic is covered, is connected, so that wherever you are, you can have a direct internet connection into space. One would think you would just go with the service provider who's already got that established, Starlink, but they refuse to. They're backing this small Montreal company that has like a few hundred satellites rather than the tens of thousands that SpaceX has for that exact reason. They don't want to be in a position where Elon Musk can just shut off the internet should anything go wrong between the two countries.
Yeah.
Unlikely, but they don't want that. And it's the same thing with data sovereignty. So if AWS, for example, opens up a data center here and they're going to host government data, the government will insist that it have final say on that data, not Amazon. Lest, of course, Amazon get ordered by their parent government to kind of close data. So you bring up a really good point. Now, how this affects earnings really, I think, is directly correlated to the relationship between sort of these allies, right? And I think that it could definitely hurt going into the future. Now, you could see a situation where, these hyperscalers get smart about it, where, they kind of create the systems in a way where it's entirely disconnected from anything American, right? So you could have newly incorporated companies that are entirely kind of Canadian or British or whatever. I don't know exactly how this goes, but I do see that as a fear. What do you think about this?
No, I was going to say the exact same thing. Don't forget, we had an issue not too long ago in regards to digital tax. Remember how,
there you go, brother.
Right? So I think that's going to be the narrative. And my question being was, what does that mean? So if you have mass adoption of Starlink, say here north of the border, as Shreve just mentioned, what happens when full-on autonomy? And it's it's like Tesla really controlling the ground and the sky in regards to autonomy and your cellular connectivity.
Yeah,
and it was just crazy. So I don't understand why the country, you got to come up with your own AI at some point, but we're just not doing that.
Well, not yet. Yeah, exactly. And another point, the reason the Chinese EVs, at least the reason they say, I think the real reason is a little different. They don't want Chinese EVs here because they think they're going to collect all your data, like how you use the car, maybe who you speak with, all that kind of information you don't want the Chinese to have. They're saying they can get their hands on it because the car is connected, right? So think about it from that perspective. So many different angles.
So many different
with
things.
Kind of just your data sovereignty.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We talk about Waymo in
IVDA.
regards to AV mileage, but then we eliminate the fact, we forget about all of Tesla's full FSD mileage, which would completely surpass everything that we've seen before. And then also the data that they've collected from everyone using FSD. Thanks, Katina Man, providing Tesla with pure data these days. So, no, in all seriousness, it definitely will become a factor at some point, but you can't. The issue being is you become stagnant, Shreve, if you reject all the technologies and then don't establish your own. Listen, we have a couple of data centers being built here. I know there's one in Kitchener-Waterloo. I think they're thinking about one in Newmarket as well, too. I don't know what's going on with the data centers out west. We have to ask Kevin O'Leary about that.
Not going to be in Mississauga, though.
Is it not anymore? They put a
moratorium. They pulled a Kathy Hochul.
Yeah, well, I mean, there you go. So if you're going to struggle continuously with building these things, you're not going to advance. You're not going to create any more jobs or anything along those lines.
I feel like Adam James Abroad is going to chime in at any second.
He can burn the ball down. It doesn't matter. Again, if you're not going to do it, somebody will. And if you don't forget, if you don't try to keep up or get ahead, you'll get left behind. And hey, man, the United States and China has a significant head start on the majority of the countries on the planet right now.
Oh, God, yeah. I want to read two very interesting comments. I think you're going to like both of these.
All right.
I'm going to read the first one by Anfex8980. On the subject of China and data, did you see the stuff about the UK drones calling home to China? Oh, my days. Yeah, that's not a good scene. Can you imagine that?
Oh, they homed them to, no way.
I didn't see that story. I'm going to have to dig into it a little deeper. I can kind of imagine where it's going. But yeah, that is definitely an issue. Ichiro always comes in with great observations. Well, yeah, because so many Chinese companies keep getting caught, quote, spying webcam, IoT stuff, etc. the reputation needs to get better first. Well said. Well said.
Will it ever? I don't know.
They're gonna have to stop doing that, and I don't think they will.
But I think a lot of it has
they
to,
will.
like, I think it goes for I think it can be said for both parties, is that it's the propaganda side of things.
Well, for sure, both the propaganda's on both sides.
That's what I'm saying,
you're
for
100%
both sides. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a consistent battle between the two.
Guys, I see IVDA running. I'm not really liking it. I want to read this out here by Renshu. Isn't it funny that they are worried about Chinese cars collecting data, yet our phones are listening and parsing, recording everything we say?
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I saw on the subway yesterday?
Yeah, for sure.
A guy had all the cameras covered. He put a piece of paper and sticky tape on the camera, and he had sticky tape on the front. I'm like, who is this guy, bro?
Man,
And they're like, who is going to spy on your stuff?
That guy's probably also has tinfoil in the inside of his house.
Now, but the point remains
know
the
you
same,
get now.
though, Joey, is like people are kind of alive to this whole thing.
Of course, it's no coincidence
you
that
know?
you talk about something and the next thing you know, you're getting an advertisement on your phone about it.
How many times has that happened?
A
lot.
To the tune of where it's like, okay, that
you
can
go.
only happen so much.
It was Jason Bourne.
Yeah, it was.
Ichiro, I wish I was that important. Yeah, bro. Nobody's like, well, not nobody, of course. I saw your friend Netanyahu, though, do it. Sorry for calling me your friend.
I thought it was yours.
Yeah, and I saw him do it. He was coming out of the car, and he had
the tape and everything.
He had
on
like
there?
it's low tech, right?
Wow.
But it works. He had like this thing covered on his
They were
phone. He got
they were
pictured
listening,
with that whole thing there. Anyway, I think it's 20 after,
It is.
and I'm pretty sure we're ready for the news. So if Sia gives me the thumbs up, we'll be ready to go. There we go. We got the double thumbs up. Fix of the hair, fixing of the jacket there. Get it, Sia. All right, let's start.
Thank you so much for waiting. Let's take a look at our first story, AMAT. So they're reporting today after the bell. So let's take a look at what is going to happen. So revenue at $8.95 to $9 billion, in between that range. You also have an increase that's in the range of 23 to 24% year over year. If that's hit, EPS between the range of $3.32 and $3.42. That is up 36% from last year. AMAT had experienced mixed reactions following its last 4 quarterly reports. Shares had declined, if you remember, almost 15% after fiscal Q3 2025 and 2.1% after the following quarter, before the stock had gained 4.4% after fiscal Q1 earnings and remained nearly unchanged for after fiscal Q2. So options markets are also implying a potential 7.4% move following the earnings report.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, guys, we often talk about the AI build out and follow where the money is going. Well, if you're going to be doing that, you have to start with a couple of names, and that is going to be ASML and Applied Materials. Now, these guys are in the beginning stages. So if a lot of these companies are paying NVDA has to pay somebody as well too, and a lot of that money is falling into Applied Materials' lap. Now, this stock is up substantially as of late, 116% year to date, down 30% off of the highs. Considering that the spending is being sustained, I think that Applied Materials is going to be just fine and have a blowout quarter, in my opinion. It's been on a big time run. Things may cool down, but they are going to exceed expectations because they're in the beginning of this whole supply chain and the spending of the hyperscalers and this AI build out.
Joey, one thing that stands out to me immediately is the reliance on China by AMAT.
Okay.
We know ASML, multiple restrictions on EUV and DUV and what they can sell. We know Lam Research, a lot of restrictions. Listen to this though.
Okay.
2-to-1 China exposure. So unlike competitors Lam and ASML that have seen their China revenue drop, of course, because of regulations, Applied Materials remains disproportionately reliant on Chinese trailing edge and domestic foundry capacity, making its forward October quarter guidance uniquely vulnerable to expanding BIS export control enforcement. And now we've seen that. We just saw with ASML, I think about 6-8 months ago, one of their DUV machines, which they were previously allowed to sell to China, can't. They're not even American. The American regulator basically tells the Dutch regulator.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. Also, you have unprecedented 2-year plus demand visibility from top customers, yet the stock's down 27% from the year-to-date peak of about $740. that's kind of reflective of market anxiety, thinking maybe that they're going to be subject to the next kind of export ban regulatory push. So something to think about there, but not much else I can say about it.
I mean, from a percentage metric, Sharif, I think it was like 13% of ASML's revenue was coming from China.
Is it still? Or
it could, I don't know how that's going to change. Now, in regards to applied material, man, 120% to the top side on just going on a parabolic move. You get this 30% pullback. I'm comfortable with that, and I do believe it's healthy. But yeah, the China exposure, you're always at risk when you have too much, when you're too reliant and too much of your revenue is coming in from China.
Especially in this sector.
Yeah,
bro. Like,
it is.
If you're buying minerals or magnets, you know, you figure the West is not going to block that because they don't have it in enough, right? But now the West is the one that controls all this chip making equipment. They want to flex on China.
Yeah, man. That's what the AI war is all about. That's all right. Let's send it back to C.
IVDA breaking out.
And applied materials is actually breaking up to $563 right now. It's actually one of my quarterly picks or my half-year picks. That is applied materials. Shout out Bloomberg. Should I have done that?
Let's take a look at Databricks here. So Databricks has said as of today that it has closed a $5 billion funding round for a $190 billion valuation. At $190 billion valuation, company has said that it has crossed $7 billion in revenue run rate and grown more than 80% year over year in the second quarter. So CEO of the company, Ali Ghodsi, has said that the quote-unquote demand is crazy. He has highlighted strength in Databricks' lake-based database unit, Genie Coworker Agent, and also its AI gateway tool, which helps control model use and costs. The company has also said additionally that it will use the funding to support enterprise AI capabilities, including its Unity AI gateway governance tool, as well as Genie agentic tool.
I like that that you brought this up, Sia, because I actually watched a bid on Databricks not too long ago. So funding support enterprise capabilities, utilizing its Unity AI gateway governance tool. So really what was going on here and what I understood from when I was watching this interview in regards to Databricks, Sharif, is that they have a pool of all of these AI tools. And from an input standpoint and from a token standpoint, these guys try to find the most efficient tool for your prompt or your usage.
Very interesting.
So that's what Databricks was doing, and that's what led them. So they're using the open source, they're using Claude, they have everything involved with this in regards to having this pool in which it will just skim through and find the most token efficient LLM or whatever feature you're looking to use. So that's what Databricks is getting up to. So
do you think that kind of mode is disruptable though? Maybe
absolutely,
by the
absolutely, man.
LLM companies themselves, right? Like,
of course.
And until they do it, right? This one, and maybe make some an acquisition target too, since they are a private company.
Right. So what they did is they had Kimi in there, DeepSeek, and all of the tools.
No way.
Yeah. And I remember watching this interview, and they'll extract it from whatever they believe is the most efficient tool.
I wonder if they're making a push into open weight, because like everybody wants to have that model at home, so that we were talking about this. The Katina man was talking about this as well. You throw in your proprietary data for the business that you run. Now Anthropic knows exactly how you're running their business, and they're going to compete with you. So everybody wants to bring it local. So I wonder if Databricks is actually doing that. Can you keep going for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked about some other things before we send it back to C, because that's all I really have to say about Databricks. But I found it really, really interesting. A pretty cool tool and feature. But again, to Sharif's point, could this be disrupted? Absolutely, especially as some of these companies and these tools become more efficient, right? We're already starting to see that. So go on.
Yeah, apparently they are.
Yeah.
They've been pushing into the open and weight model space specifically. They released their own DBRX. It's a kind of fine-grained mixture of experts. We've been talking a lot about this MOE kind of thing, which is awesome because it means you don't use all the parameters at any one time, so you can have a weaker computer and continue to run the model because it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when token efficiency is really coming into play, right? So that's a really big thing here. In regards to that. So.
All right, Joey, I just want to, Mesology Trading keeps calling out Archon. I kind of don't like it, brother, but I respect what you're saying. This is a gnarly downtrend here. It's a multi-day downtrend. If we just focus on today's, where, there's this resistance here at about 2 3/4 pennies. So this is literally a penny stock. This isn't for me, brother, especially on the downtrend, but good luck with it. I hope you print Archon. Multiple storms on your side of the screen. See ya.
Let's take a look at Cisco CSCO. That is down, and well, like I said, Adara said, market reacts how it reacts despite a report. Let's take a look at this. Cisco has beat Q4 expectations with adjusted EPS of $1.22 versus $1.17 that was expected. Revenue at $17.25 billion versus $16.82 billion that was expected. Revenue rising 18%, net income jumping 51% year over year. AI momentum has also accelerated. Hyperscalers have placed $4 billion of infrastructure orders in the quarter, which has lifted first year 26 orders to $9.3 billion. But despite this Q1 revenue guidance between the range of $18 to $18.2 billion, that's crushing the $16.8 billion consensus. Shares have sold off sharply as the stock is already up more than 60% this year. And that has faced elevated expectations of profit taking. But also to know this, that Cisco is expecting hyperscaler revenue here as well to nearly double $7.5 billion in fiscal 2027. Cisco is currently down over 8.5% on the day and on its way to 9%.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this, okay? So $4 billion single quarter AI infrastructure order, man. I mean, that's kind of obviously driven by hyperscalers. They logged a $4 billion deal just in Q4 alone. That brings their full year total to $9.3 billion. That is 4.5 times the total orders that they had in all of 25. Gives you an idea how quickly this is accelerating. Guys, FGI is about to flat bottom break through 14 to 14.5. If you're still long there, be very careful, okay? And now we know that they're throwing their hat into multiple different rings, silicon and, of course, optics. So out of the $9.3 billion deals that I'm talking about for the full fiscal year, revenue was split 60% for Silicon One-based custom switching systems and then 40% for optics. I like how they've thrown their hat into the optics ring. We've all seen what Lumentum has done this year. It was like a $100 stock about 8 to 10 months ago, something like that. And then listen to this. This is what I was telling Adara in the morning. 99% of their free cash flow, for whatever reason, is being put back in the hands of you and I, the shareholders. Why? I know you like that, Mr. Dividend Aristocrat, but let me just make my point here. So they had $12.7 billion in cash. They put that back into the shareholders' hands via dividends and via share buybacks. Now, why I say that maybe not such a good thing, where the hell is all the R&D money, right? We see everybody else spending up a storm, research and development, capacity expansion, this, that, and the other. Are they going to fall behind here by just being, so, kind of, I don't know, tunnel visioned just to put back money into the shareholders' hands without actually innovating? So that is a bit of an issue for me. And then last but not least, they raised their full year guide, Joey. Full year 2027, they're guiding $72.2 billion to $73.4 billion. That implies about a 14 to kind of 16% growth.
Yeah, I mean, this is another company who's just benefiting from all of this insane amounts of spending. And I mean, if you talk about the 5 companies, there's over $1 trillion in commitments already for the next couple of years, and not counting what we've already spent. But the CEO stating here, Nexus switch orders tagged for AI development were up more than 85%. Which is big. And then they also scored a massive enterprise customer as well too, which they did not disclose. So I mean, as long as the hyperscalers are spending this money, I think Cisco and a bunch of other companies are going to continue to benefit, because that's that narrative. And I continuously pound the table. When things start to cool down, Sharif, if you haven't built this infrastructure, some of these names might get hit heavier than others. Why? Because I think when we have this infrastructure established, you're going to see an ROI on the hyperscalers, but then the money isn't going to be funneling to these other participants who have been receiving it with all this spending, the applied materials, the ASMLs, and the Ciscos of the world.
I just want to read Hesh44's comment before we get to the super. Listen to this, Joey. As a Cisco employee, they do not innovate. They buy innovation. So they are acquiring their way, essentially, which is fair. We know when company matures enough, right? They just acquire new companies because they have the cash to do it, rather than going through the R&D and maybe failing, maybe succeeding, right? Yeah. So I do like that. But Rudy says it again. I say it again, says Rudy Amid. Cisco is no longer innovative. seems like you guys, I look at Peter and the Corsos, obviously don't see any growth for themselves. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
But I mean,
Cisco
you can
had that
just
kind
do
of
that.
look. Pardon me?
You could just buy your way through. You could just buy
fine.
anybody's.
But you can do both. Like we see that from
course you
Amazon
can.
as well. Amazon acquires companies, but they also innovate. Like
Yeah,
they do
absolutely.
their own chip innovation. And we've seen Trainium. We've seen what was that other one called? Trainium, and what's the other? Inferentia.
Okay.
Right. So all that's in-house stuff. Trader K20, 5 nice ones in the chat. Thank you for that. Any alternative risk management tips? My stops end up too tight half the time. My small cap trades are usually buy plus sell bracket. Okay, thanks for all you do. Great question there, man. It is tricky. It really depends on the trading style that you're employing. So for example, if you are following a trend system, right? And say you're charting on the 15. Let's go over here, Assassino. Let's do this, right? If you're charting on the 5, for example, you're gonna expect more noise on the 5 than you likely see on the 15. I think we can all agree on that, right? So if you're following a trend following system and you're putting your stop below prior bar low, if that's kind of your methodology, then on a 5, you're likely to get stopped a lot. But let's flip to the 15. So look, I'm just gonna give you a case in point. All these candles almost are all green for the exception of this one, right? But if you had based your stop on prior bar low on the 1210 bar relative to the 1215 bar, you would have got stopped out because this ended up being a hammer candle, a bottoming tail candle. You would have got stopped out even though it ripped the next candle. Let's see what the 15 would have showed. So what time slot was that? 1215, 1210, right? Let's flip to the 15 on this one. Look at that. On the 15, you wouldn't have got stopped out. It would have been clean. So one thing I can suggest to you right away is if you're using the whatever methodology you're using, where you're putting it below prior bar or key technical level, perhaps look at your stop placement on a wider time frame so you're not subject to as much noise. I think that's what worked for me. But if you are taking big size and you are getting stopped out early, I think that is not such a bad thing because with small caps specifically, they could turn on you, right? And so you always have the option to get back in. What you don't have the option is if you're DCAing to no end, you don't have the option, right, for the stock to move back up. It may or may not. But if you get stopped out, take a loss, and then it resets, you can always get back in. You take a bit of a hit, but if you're astute enough, you could obviously ride it into the high. So I'd say my first suggestion is put your stop placement on a wider time frame. It'll be subject to a little bit less noise. Did you want to cover that, Super, or you're good to go on that?
Yeah, I mean, size down, wider stop, right? I think that just give yourself more room until you know where you can tight it. Displaying where structure is, because if you believe it's too tight of a stop, I know we're talking about small caps here, but here's one. So if we're looking for a breakout, you don't want to have your stop in the middle of the range because it will get tagged. Give yourself some room, right? And size down, with that being said. So size down. And if your platform allows you to use a calculated fixed wrist hotkey, those are absolute game changers because you just double click where you want your stop. It'll calculate the amount of shares from point A to point B and then give you your risk to reward. But as soon as you establish structure, give yourself room.
Respect that. See ya.
So, Adara, I do want to take you in on this. So, Cerebras reported the second quarter revenue, $180 million versus $194 million that was expected, and adjusted loss per share of 5 cents that came significantly better than the 17-cent loss that was expected. AI demand also remaining exceptionally strong, I can say, with $25.4 billion in remaining performance obligations. Cloud revenue that has also reached a number of $126 million. Management is also expecting revenue to triple next fiscal year. Also, all thanks to fast inference adoption that has been accelerating. Despite raising this core revenue guidance, however, for FY2, $880 to $890 million from $855 to $865 million, and at the same time, guiding Q3 gross margins between the range of 38 to 40%. Shares have fallen roughly, I would say. They were down 14% and they still are close to 14%, focused on the headline revenue miss as well as elevated expectations.
So this is an interesting look here for Cerebras revenue. It's worth noting for fiscal first half of the year, so if you include Q1 and Q2, cumulatively, they did have year-over-year growth for both hardware and cloud and other services. I want to start with that. However, for just this quarter, for just the quarter we got, Q2, hardware revenue dropped 23% year-over-year. So from 70,000-ish to 54,000-esque. Cloud and other services revenue up 281% year-over-year. So Sia was talking about that revenue tripling for this fiscal year. It already tripled within this quarter for this one segment. So kind of an interesting look. And then total revenue here up 74%. So yeah, I think it's very clear that the section that is growing the most is the section that is making up roughly 75% just under of their revenue, cloud and other services. Given, I think, the cloud proliferation lately and how much people are focusing on cloud, I don't think that's necessarily a bad look. I think it looks bad on its face that, oh, you've got a section of revenue that's declining year over year. But I think given that it's like, if it was cloud and other services that were declining, I think this would be more of a concern. So that's my take here in CBRS.
That jives with my first point, Adara, which is it's a tale of two stories. You have one growing at 281%. That is, of course, the hosted cloud and inference services. And then you have another that continues to bleed, which is hardware, $54.1 million. That is substantially below the 73.1 the street was looking for. And it also didn't do that well on a percentage year-over-year basis, whereas the cloud and inference, $126 million. I mentioned 281% year over year, but the street was looking for only 116. So an easy beat there. Let's talk, though, about their post-IPO SBC charge. So they did have a gap net loss. It exploded to about $450 billion. Guys, that is substantially down from that $309 million in net profit this year, last quarter. So they made in Q2 2025, $310 million. Q2 2026, they lost $450 million. Well, there's a reason for that. It's a one-time charge of $386.6 million. It's stock-based compensation following the May IPO. It's not going to happen again. So even though it does look ugly on the quarter, it's not to be repeated. But they do have a big RPO backlog, remaining performance obligations, whatever you want to call it, $25.4 billion, Joey. And there's some big heavy hitters here that all want in. We're talking OpenAI, we're talking AWS, we're even talking AMD. I don't even know why AMD wants cloud service, but they do. So good on them. And then the full year revenue, Joey, they raised it $880 million to $890. That's a good look there. And they're projecting Q3 revenue. So the next quarter, 214 to 216, and they're saying that their hardware segment, which did very badly, and Adara showed that quite nicely there with the chart, they're saying that they did badly because they had a lot of delays in the deliveries, not because they don't have demand for those chips, but because they couldn't get the components to make them. So hopefully fixes in the second half of the year.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, Shreve. And I think there's a couple of things here that help warrant some of this move, no pun intended here. But what I found interesting specifically about this report, and I think the street might have dug into this a little bit, but the company uses a non-standard revenue metric because sales figures are affected by two idiosyncrasies that are not strictly part of operations. First, it gets some pass-through revenue that comes with no margin, so the company subtracts that. Second, the company is issuing warrants to two customers. This is what I'm focusing on, the warrants to two customers, and that the amortization of the warrants gets subtracted from revenue under standard accounting practices. So the company adds that back in core revenue. So Sharif, what I'm getting at here and what I found interesting is that in the second quarter, the company had $180 million in sales, but it subtracted $14.5 million of pass-through revenue and added back $44.3 million in warrant amortization. So that's kind of boosting the books a little bit there. So
That's
I think the street.
I like when you boost the book.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, man, at the end of the day, the street may not like it because the stock is down 17%. So.
Do you like boosting the book, Sia?
Nope. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Sorry, that was a very blunt answer. Microsoft has lost at least 15 China-based branch offices and joint ventures over the past 5 years. The reason being that Beijing is pushing foreign technology companies, out of the government and state-linked infrastructure. On another note, to also know, apart from this, is that Microsoft's China commercial revenue has reportedly fallen below 1.5% of global sales. So this pressure centers mainly on cybersecurity concerns. That's clear, with Chinese regulators reportedly warning companies about Microsoft Azure cloud risks, and Beijing increasingly favoring domestic alternatives as U.S.-China technology restrictions continue to intensify. But the direct revenue exposure here continues to be limited. And Microsoft, this, I would say, basically reinforces that Microsoft's shrinking strategic position in China, and comes as shares have pulled back roughly $510 towards $493, which is where they are right now, 493.6 to be precise, after a rather powerful post-earnings rally.
And it seems to be mostly on cybersecurity concerns that their China revenue is dwindling. It's now less than 1.5% of their global sales. It just puts into perspective the hyperscalers and how, for the exception of Tesla, let's be honest about it, and Apple, what am I saying? Of course, you're not going to have a lot of overlap between China and the United States there, especially when you think of Meta and Google. They do have a China presence because some Chinese advertisers advertise on North American platforms, but those guys can't be active there unless you have a VPN, of course. We always call it the great firewall of China, right? We all know about that. Oh. But this is to me a cybersecurity issue, and it is basically from as a result of that. And you're going to see probably a little bit more of this, quite frankly, as everything becomes a bit more interconnected, and you try to protect your data a little bit more, right? Yeah. Everything is so data related now.
I mean, I don't have much to say on this specific topic, but we could talk about how the continuing build of AI, we already know that NVIDIA is pretty much not allowed there. EVs aren't allowed here. Chinese EVs aren't allowed in the United States. I wouldn't be surprised if that continues to expand over time. Like Google, you can't use Google search or anything.
Unless you use a VPN, you can't. Yeah. So, you know what I mean?
You trust VPNs.
Look at this. 15 China-based branch offices and joint ventures closed over the past 5 years. Mm-hmm. That's not a trend. Then what do we call it?
And that's what I've been saying. Listen, if we truly believe that some of these Chinese models are more efficient than what we have the frontier models in North America, the door will be shut. I'm going to stand in that. The American regulators will be like, you are not allowed to use this stuff.
Or if you're going to use it, you're not going to do any business with the government.
Exactly. Zero business. And do you want that at the end of the day? I don't even think they would allow that. I think at some point they would just completely shut the door. And
like they did with EVs, essentially, by pricing it out. Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all, man.
Completely shut it down.
Noon, you're right. I wonder if it's really encrypted. Well, what kind of encryption are we talking about, right? Because then you have the likes of some of these platforms like Signal and some others that refuse to kind of put in a back door for law enforcement, and then you see these other companies come up with hacks for it, right? So, is it really encrypted, like in the literal sense? Or is it encrypted for like 99% of the people out there? So I like that. Get Canada to check on these VPNs.
Blame Canada. Before we send it back to see our guy Bartoli over here.
Get it, Bartoli.
Yeah, what's up, Bartoli? What's going on, man? I'm sorry, it's not Bartoli. It's Bart J Anatoli. Anyways, maybe Katina Man's friend. Yeah. It's our guy Bart. Anyway.
Maybe Katina Man. Putting in
exactly. Boy, you gotta watch it.
You got the Italian connection there, Joey.
No, Katina Man's was born in Honduras. He stated this morning.
That's cap.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said. He can't be born. He can't be Canadian.
Katina Man's only half Italian, though, brother.
Yeah. So the other half maybe being.
He's just Canadian.
Right,
yeah.
Honduran.
I had a conversation with him this morning about coffee, and safe to say that if you take coffee in the afternoon with some cream in it, he will not like you for that.
He would not like the food? I didn't hear what you said. Anyways, aside from that, $100.33 was the high of the day on Robinhood. So yeah, Bart, things are looking pretty good here. Turnaround in Robinhood. But I'm not in love with this fintech name like I was 12 months ago.
Let's take a look at our next story. OpenAI has, as of today, said that the Chief Revenue Officer, Denise Dresser, is leaving her role less than a year after she joined the AI lab. So the company has said that she is leaving to, quote unquote, pursue other opportunities, according to a release. OpenAI has hired now Dolly Verjic, who has previously served as the President and Chief Operating Officer of cybersecurity company that we know called Wiz, W-I-Z, to replace her. OpenAI had also hired Denise Dresser in December after she had spent more than a decade as an executive at Salesforce. In 2023, she was named CEO of Slack. This departure will mark a second senior exit at OpenAI in just days' time. Longtime OpenAI executive, if you do remember, Brad Lightcap, had also announced his decision to leave the company as Tuesday. And he also wrote in his post on X that he's going to, quote unquote, start something new.
Sia, there's been 10 major execs who have left, major, like C-suite, since April. I don't know if this is kind of let's jump off a sinking ship. I'm not going to call OpenAI sinking. That's stupid. They have a lot of active users and they have a lot of room to grow. However, they are being challenged here, and I think rightfully so by Claude. And even though Claude has kind of insisted on taking the enterprise route, it doesn't mean that they have to do it going forward. They could switch to whatever, what are we calling this? Retail? Whatever we're calling that. Kind of just regular users. So it is not an isolated departure, in my opinion. It marks the 10th senior exit in 4 months, following, of course, the high-profile resignations of longtime CEO Brad Lightcap. He was out. He just left 2 days prior. And, of course, applications CEO Fiji Simo. And then there was plenty of others. Mira Murati, who left, making, what are they called? Into something machines there. There's been a lot of major people who have left, and I think it's because they don't like Altman.
Think so? But we've seen, but like again, I'm not trying to play. I'll play I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. But look what we're seeing in Google, right? Like we've seen a lot of shifting within this AI boom.
Okay.
My question to you is right? Shift. Yeah. So my question to you right now, in regards to everyone, kind of this mass. I'm not going to call it a mass exodus, but we're having people leaving. Do you think that it's attractive what Dario has done, because he left OpenAI as well too, and then created a $2 trillion company in the span of 5 years? Do you think that's something that's attractive to some of these individuals who are leaving the company?
Yes, but I have 2 comments here. Dario took the PhDs who didn't want to deal with Altman, who didn't trust Altman. He took them and he made his own company. So it was Altman related. Now, with respect to the Google thing, astute point there. But you see what that guy who left Google is going to do? He's opening up his own company, but Google's going to use that company. The relationship exists. There's no relationship between these people.
Totally fair.
They don't like Altman.
No, they don't like Altman. Altman was ousted. Listen, I'm not going to go against you. I think that this company at some point might be better off without Sam Altman. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be true, but they
like
ousted
a
him
cockroach
before.
That you can't kill,
well, apparently
so.
So.
He's that mouse that just keeps avoiding the trap. He eats the cheese and he doesn't die.
The question being, do you think that OpenAI needs Altman?
No. No. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I don't even think Altman is that great. I really don't.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, I think there's a lot more talented than Altman. I think he's a slickster. He's really good.
Slick.
Yeah, that's what I think he's a good businessman. I don't think he's smart in the Elon or Dario kind of way. No, I'm not a fan of his.
Really, but like you got to give him a little bit of credit. Listen, I understand we don't love him. He was the first model out, right? Like he was the first one, first in class, essentially.
He was the best one.
He was the best one. And I mean, like we know he's. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's a snake. I feel like he's a snake, right? He's a slithering snake. But you don't get to $1 trillion plus valuation and 1 billion monthly active users by being horrible at what you do. Could there be better talent out there? Absolutely. Is there someone who can run the business? Well, think about what Tim Cook did with Apple, right?
Sure.
Taking it from $380 billion valuation to $4 trillion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Altman's going to be that guy, but there could be that individual who steps in an OpenAI and just says, hey, we're turning this ship around. We want to have a better image, public image that is, and then take this thing to completely new heights.
If I was the board and we all, so Altman survived because of Nadella. Okay?
Yeah.
If Nadella didn't step in and insist that Altman be put back, Altman would be at the helm at the moment. But Altman's and Nadella's relationship is not the same as it was 2 years ago.
And look what he's doing with Apple as well, too, right now, right?
He's stealing their stuff,
Yeah,
man. So anyway, I'm not a big fan of his. I think you guys already know that. Let's send it back to CL. Talk about the next story.
Let's take a look at the next story. We're talking about Meta here. So Meta has deactivated more than 756,000 Australian accounts that had been suspected of belonging to users under the age of 16. Seeing a lot of this around Meta that's going around right now, including 462,000 Instagram and 294,000 Facebook accounts as it complies with Australia's landmark social media ban. Enforcement is relying partly on AI-based age detection, but also there is pressure that is escalating ahead of the parliamentary hearing and potential penalties that Meta could face up to 99 million Australian dollars. So this is all alongside a proposed Australian tax that is equal to 2.25% of revenue for platforms that fail to comply to these regulations. The bigger risk, however, is that regulatory contagion, since you have the UK and the European Union countries that are considering similar age restrictions, while shares have fallen roughly 12.3% year to date. Meta is currently up, however, on the day, close to the 2% mark, trading around $589.
So just off the bat, when you look at the headline number, 756,000 accounts relative to how many? 3 billion monthly active or
is
daily active, something like that?
Oh, yeah. On the platform itself.
Yeah. On all of them, like the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the WhatsApp. That's not that many. But when you start looking at the cumulative effect of all these accounts, if every country or most countries were to employ something like this, I think it adds up. I think it affects advertising dollars. Let's be honest, they're advertising to teens in the same way that they're advertising to adults. Let's cut the crap. That's one. Two, I mentioned this with Adair at the big desk yesterday. It's sort of an impossibility what the regulator is asking Meta to do. They're saying, no, you need to collect information from the user who's under 13 to make sure that they can't have a platform or they can't have an account. But then there's also concurrent legislation which prohibits the company from collecting information from individuals under 13 years of age without their parents' permission. So how do you square that circle? The only way you square that is by obviously legislative amendments, because it's contradictory, right? So I don't know exactly how this happens. Now, this is the American problem because it's the American jurisdiction that prevents this, the collecting of information of individuals below the age of 13 without their parents' permission. So you're asking them to do something that is illegal. So I think we definitely need statutory change here, but thankfully, I don't think there's a lack of appetite right now amongst, politicians from social media regulation. They're gung-ho about it. Let's just be honest about that. They're ready to go. They're ready to hurt Meta. They're ready to hurt, these other social media companies. They feel they're deleterious to society. Whether you agree with them or not, it seems where the wave is going.
Listen, Sharif, man, this is actually becoming more shaping into the tobacco moment for social media. I mean, just case after case, we're seeing what's happening in Australia, Europe as well, too. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to happen north of the American border, aka Canada. They're in a little bit of trouble in regards to this stuff. I mean, there's so many aspects to why these issues are there and that I agree with, to be honest with you. I'm fortunate enough to have a time in my life where I didn't have all of these social media platforms to seeing what's going on now, and that I'm thankful for. It is extremely addictive. It's extremely addictive. They've got those dopamine shots. You have the reels and everything along those lines. They have mastered the ability to keep users engaged, and that is a big part of the reason why Meta has 3 billion monthly active users plus. Right? It is highly, highly, highly addictive stuff. It's just continuous shots of dopamine.
Yeah, and the unlimited scroll. Can I say something to you? TikTok, Ram, are you still there? Ram.
She's locked in. She's not answering. What?
Ram, do you remember when TikTok used to have that feature that said, hey, you've been scrolling for a long time. Maybe you should take a break. What happened to that, Ram? It disappeared all of a sudden, isn't it? Because it was limiting their ads. Revenue comes over everything, Fabian, over mental health, whatever. But so the point was they did have that in there. And they did it, I'm talking about TikTok. Yeah. They did it preemptively. Nobody legislated that. But funny enough, they took that off when it started limiting revenue, bro. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So revenue above everything else.
You can scroll into an oblivion on YouTube Shorts. Like if I need to kill an hour, I'll just go scroll on YouTube Shorts.
I go on TikTok.
Yes,
I only allow
shorts.
myself TikTok on the weekends, though.
Well, that's good, man.
I'm not allowed to open up during the week.
Oh, no, yeah, and you don't?
I don't.
That's good.
All my life, I don't.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, but I'll spend a couple of hours on it on the weekend.
TikTok saves Ramin's mental health, apparently. Okay.
Well, otherwise she'd be killing people.
Oh, yeah. Keep her distracted. Keep her distracted. You got this, man. I
was loaded up with the coffee.
Everyone was saying, so a couple people in the chat were saying you were Egyptian, Katina, man. I said, no, he's from,
what is happening?
From Honduras, man.
Algerian.
No,
oh,
Honduras,
my
man. I thought you were
days.
from Honduras, right?
Honduras.
Earlier this morning. I wish I could restrict shorts. Listen, we could probably do a poll right now. Hey, do you doom scroll? And I guarantee it would be a high majority to the people of.
But I would fall into the category of yes and no, because I don't doom scroll during the week, but I do doom scroll on the afternoon. No, brother, there's just no time of the day, my boy.
Yeah, that's fair, man.
There isn't. Yeah, that's fact.
Hey, Joey, ban that guy who said breakout on NVDA. Let's see. Let's see if it's not breaking out. Maybe we'll do that. I'm only playing. You can read that headline.
A headline by Adair there. U.S. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper pushes for renewed attacks on Iran during Israel visit, despite U.S. calls to close all fronts last week. That is being reported by Israel's Channel 13. So there you go. Keep it on the watch there for USO. Just taking a quick look on USO, no immediate reaction there, still negative about 1.12% on the day. So, Paul, Sharif, I lived in Cairo, and Alex for 7 years, Habibi, Maadi, and Heliopolis. Love both of those. So Heliopolis is in the very east of Cairo. It's where my cousin lives, actually. It's very close to the new area called the Fifth Settlement. It looks like SoCal, which Egypt does not look like SoCal in general. So if you kind of go with what I'm saying, I'm born in Alexandria, so I love that. Moved here when I was 4 years old, so I'm not technically born here, obviously, but I haven't been to Alexandria, man, since 2007, and I've been hurting to go back for a hot minute. I heard they changed a lot about that city, so I'm kind of excited to see it, Joey.
Yeah, that'd be
2 o'clock.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
Time flies when you're having fun, man. It was a banger. Bye, Jody. But Adam James, of course I want to watch your stuff. It's more or less the short form content, and obviously the comparison, I think, within social media is what makes it really, really difficult. There's obviously big time upsides to having some of these platforms, but I think
contact with family,
exactly, friends and family and stuff. But it's the consistent comparison to which is really hard to determine if it's reality or not. I'm referring
100%.
to Instagram of
100%.
The lifestyle.
How much cap on there? Right, setting up,
private jets and all of that. Like
you can
every other person's on a private jet somehow and stuff like that. So, anyways, fantastic one. Need us not take any more time from the individuals to our right. I know we're already getting in trouble. I'm getting, you know, when you're doing a comedy show and they want you off the stage, they put the red light up there.
Yeah. Or you get
That's what Assassino's doing to us right now. So we'll props that up. We'll be sure to send it over to the boys. Fantastic day.
Take care, guys.
What was the show?
It's like the Muppets, or was it the Muppets?